with a ton of credentials in wrestling, coaching in wrestling, and finally, he's putting those skill sets where they need to be inside of a cage.
That's right, Sean. And Randy just told you guys the good news. Let me tell you the bad, which is when you take a look at Bubba Jenkins, you're looking at a polished wrestler. Bubba Jenkins, just to remind you guys at home, pinned a man named David Taylor when he won the NCAA championship 2 weeks ago. David Taylor was crowned the Olympic champion. Why do I say that? Because Chris Wade's a wrestler himself, and he can act how he wants, but he will look at Bubba and those accomplishments, and one wrestler to another, it's going to mean something to him. I submit for you guys. Chris Wade's first battle is going to be mental and know that he can compete with Jenkins.
So my not so private hope is that two wrestlers will cancel each other out in that skill set and we get a stand-up battle. Who knows what'll happen in that 145-pound semifinal. Let's take a look at our light heavyweight bracket. This is the most important weight class in the PFL. Let's face it, fellas. 1 versus 4, Antonio Carlos Jr., a PFL newcomer, taking on a returning 2019 champ in Emiliano Sordi. And the 2-3 matchup between Cesar Ferreira and Martin Hamlet is a fascinating matchup of differing skill sets.
All right, look at Sordi, guys. Now, this is relevant. This is a former champion. He's wanting his respect, but the lines are saying there could be an upset brewing. I think what you see in Antonio's eyes right there.
Carlos is a very well-rounded. Here's a Brazilian black belt jiu-jitsu. He's got 9 submissions to his credit. But as you alluded to, Chael, you saw him first in the Ultimate Fighter at heavyweight with 3 knockouts in that left hand. Well-rounded fighter.
Well, hold on for a second, because Emiliano Sordi is a returning champ. He's not just any returning champ. He's a returning champ in 2019 who went through an entire 5-fight season pretty much untouched. Can he bring that in again to these semifinals?
Oh, he certainly can. He needs to mix things up with his hands. But make no mistake on the X's and O's here. When you look at this highlight tape of Sordi, guys, this is going to look very one way. Now, of course, I'm showing you 2019. He fought 5 men. He stopped 4 of them, all in the first round. He won the championships. He got a check with a couple of commas on it. But I share with you, if you watch how he did this, he did it with his hands. Because so many people are making the narrative that this fight's going to go to the ground, which it may well. But it's going to start standing up first. And I do think that Sordi has a speed and a power that anyone is going to have to deal with, in this case, Bigfoot. Now, take a quick look here. You're going to see Sordi looking a little different. You're going to see him knocked down. In this clip, you're going to see him staying down. I'll remind you guys, he won those matches, but he lost moments. He lost rounds, which possibly is the only kryptonite we've seen from him in his career here in the PFL.
In the preseason, Emiliano Sordi dealt with COVID. Before his second regular season bout, he dealt with staph infection. He promises us that he's 100% healthy coming into tonight. Does that mean a return to 2019 form? Well, he might have to get back there if he's going to beat Shoeface. Antonio Carlos Jr., he's a PFL newcomer, but he's far too great in this game.
Absolutely. Here's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, a world champion in that endeavor, and not afraid to go toe-to-toe with anybody. Here he is in his regular season fight against Tom Lawler. Beautiful slip and punch. Finished with that head outside single. Now he's got the fight in his world. You see ground and pound. Here's the choke slam, the guillotine choke. Very tight. Not nobody's getting out of that one. This guy's a well-rounded fighter, not afraid to trade blows. Got an amazing left hand and a terrific submission game.
Antonio Carlos Jr., by the way, he had that impressive finish over Tom Lawler, and then kind of a weird no-contest scenario that got him through his second regular season bout. But how about the other half of the bracket? 2 versus 3, Cesar Ferreira, Martin Hamlet.
I know what it's like to try to impress your hero. I'm working with mine tonight, but when you talk about Cesar Ferreira, he looks up to Vitor Belfort, and quite frankly, he fights a little like him.
Nice to see you talk to your hero there, Chill. I appreciate it.
That's an invalid target.
Martin Hamlet's new on the scene. Not a lot of information out there. He's only got 10 MMA fights to his credit. This is the guy that's 7-time national champion in Norway, Greco-Roman wrestling, and Olympic. Hopeful for that country, and an amazing athlete.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about Cesar Ferreira because that's a former Randy Couture training partner. I'm not going to get unbiased opinion and information over here. The mutant, they call him, and you can see why when you look at him. What are the keys for him?
Look, when I make a comparison to Cesar and Vitor Belfort, it largely has to do with you're about to see, which is the hands. This is the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt from Brazil, but notice the left hook followed by that straight, followed by another hook. Look, he doesn't throw anything one at a time. He throws punches and bunches. The good news is the first one might miss. The bad news when you're fighting Cesar is there's 5 more coming right behind him.
All right. I have to admit I just made a mistake because I thought that I could go to jail and get unbiased information about somebody, and now I go back to Randy to give me somehow an unfettered opinion about a Greco-Roman wrestler, and that's not super likely. But look, in all seriousness, Martin Hamlet, a physical specimen, relatively new to the game, as you already mentioned. Gosh, he's got an impressive skill set.
Yeah, well, there's no secret. I believe that Greco-Roman wrestling is one of the wrestling styles that translates the best to mixed martial arts because of the upright posture of Greco. And Hamlet was a perfect example. This guy does a great job of closing the distance, getting his hands on somebody. He's got great body locks, great transition skills. There's the head-outside single that he finishes very nicely with the second effort. There's the arm triangle from the guard. I've never seen it done from there. That is ridiculous power to pull that off right there. This guy's a total package. He may be a little green, but I guarantee you he's come to fight tonight.
He choked Dan Spawn completely unconscious. I fought Dan Spawn. I couldn't put him away. Emiliano Sordi fought him to a draw. The former champ couldn't put him away. Martin Hamlet did put him away. Those are our playoff bouts coming up later on ESPN2, and of course they'll be simulcast on ESPN+. But up first, it's these showcase bouts. Shimon Moraes looking to build some momentum coming off a recent win, and I promise you this Chris Camozzi, Corey Hendricks bout is going to be phenomenal. These are two individuals who just missed the light heavyweight playoffs, but each of them holds a win over men who are in our light heavyweight semifinals later tonight. Let's take a look at the odds. Anthony Dizzy, the French wrestler, still getting a lot of love. Alejandro Flores, great action in 3 different weight classes coming up here on ESPN Plus in these showcase bouts. All right, how are we going to bet these fights? Well, I'm no expert, but we have experts for you. And if you missed our DraftKings pre-fight show, don't worry, we've still got you covered. We send it over now to Jonathan Coachman and Ian Parker for their professional guidance.
Oh, Sean, thank you very much. It's great to be back again. It's hard to believe we've reached the end of the playoffs tonight, but that indeed is the case. Great analysis from the guys, but Ian, the only thing better than watching great fights on ESPN Plus and ESPN2 is cashing tickets on those same fights that we're going to watch for the next 3.5 to 4 hours. But I want to start with the fights that they just showed, the ESPN Plus card. Give me one fight that you looked at and you said, I love the number and I love the fighter. Give it to me.
That fighter is going to be Bobby Moffett against Jason Knight. The odds started off a little bit less, but it's still at a really good, manageable number here. Moffett's level of competition over his last few fights, his performance against Bubba Jenkins really showed me that his cardio was there, his striking is improved, and his submission skills are really confronted at any point. I think he gets it done over Jason Knight.
When you see the number -155, for those people who are new to MMA betting, welcome, first of all. Welcome to the family. But our baseline is -200. Anything above it, we like to throw it into a parlay. Anything below it, we believe we can bet it straight. So let's fast forward now to the ESPN cards. 4 different fights, all with playoff implications. So start with the light heavyweights, Ferreira and Hamlet. You just heard the guys break it down. But what about cashing the tickets? What do you like?
Well, you will definitely not get an unbiased opinion from me because I'm going with Martin Hamlet here. I think his wrestling and his pressure is what is going to get it done, and it has to be the path to victory for him. From Tante's striking comes punches and bunches and a lot of power. But when you put him on his back, power goes away and his cardio fades. I like Martin Hamlet as the first one to win, Coach.
So Ian, you believe in 2 months from tonight that Hamlet will be standing in the smart cage across from Sordi or Shoeface? Who?
I'm going with Shoeface here. Look, his striking is definitely there, but we know where the biggest disparity is going to be, and that's going to be on the ground. There's no reason to mess around with the power of Sordi. I think Shoeface gets the fight to the floor, and that's where he gets the win.
All right, those are the light heavyweights. Shoeface and Hamlet. Ian Parker believes will be fighting for the $1 million in October. Let's go to the featherweights now. Let's start with first the 2 guys that clearly, as we can see, do not like each other. Chris Wade and Bubba Jenkins. Handicap for me.
Nothing like a good rivalry here, Coach, but I'm going to go with Bubba Jenkins. Look, we all know his wrestling is top-notch, but his striking is what's been the most impressive, especially against Lance Palmer. He was able to use that jab, and the wrestling is always there to fall back on. And again, cardio makes a difference. Against a guy in Chris Wade, Jenkins is going to have to push the pace early on in the fight, get the first 2 rounds on the ground where he should dominate with his wrestling. I expect Bubba Jenkins to win and move on to the finals.
And I want to be very clear. Chris Wade and Wolfman Jenkins that his gods may not help him, but we'll take all the help we can get as we head into tonight. So let's get to the final, the main event, which I think could be the most competitive main event that we've had in the playoffs. Habulaev and Locknane, give it to me.
I was hoping Chris Wade wasn't talking about the betting gods, but in this fight, we are going to go with, we like Brendan Locknane here. I'm going to look up to the gods on this fight. Look, Brendan Locknane, the better striker of the two, in my opinion. He'll have the range, he's got the distance, and he talks about his underrated wrestling. That takedown of Habulaev, he has to watch out. The defensive wrestling has to come in here big time. I think Locknane can get it done. He's so confident at the right time. He's peaking at the right time. I think he's going to get it done. And the underdog can cap off the night in the main event. Brendan Locknane on to the final.
Oh, that would be incredibly tasty. Now, normally, each and every night, we'll give you a Parker's prop bet, but this is the playoffs. This is the last night of the playoffs before the championship night. So we're going to go a step further. It is now time for Parker's prop bets, presented by DraftKings Sportsbooks. And I know I know you love 3. Go ahead with it.
I do. We're going to start off with Chris Camozzi versus Corey Hendricks. I'm loving Corey Hendricks to win this fight and to win by decision at plus 200. Both guys difficult to finish. If Hendricks gets to win by decision, that's a great cash out, coach. Moving on to the light heavyweights. Martin Hamlet, Cesar Pereira. We both saw these guys cardio fade. I do not expect this fight to last 3 rounds, so why not bet that it does not go the distance at minus 125? And last but not least, for those of you that go and bet Bubba Jenkins, but you don't like such a high number, minus 190, I got a solution for you. Minus 120, Bubba Jenkins to win by decision, and those are Parker's best prop bets of the night.
Presented by DraftKings Sportsbooks. Prop bets, great bets, underdogs. What more could you want? I know what you could want. How about Sean, let's get it going.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Ian. Without further ado, let's get to some showcase fight action. That is Jacob Kilburn, a lightweight, looking to impress the boss and earn a spot on the Season 4 PFL roster. And his opponent, Brandon Jenkins, looking to do the same, representing Syndicate MMA. Action when we return on ESPN+.
Wrong target. That's an invalid target.
The PFL.
An incorrect target is selected. That's an invalid target.
The PFL.
1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1. 1 1.
PFL on ESPN Plus is brought to you by Presidente. Be the Presidente. Guidebook. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. Rich Energy, the official energy drink of the PFL. And by CarParts.com. Get the right parts right now at CarParts.com.
Welcome, fight fans, to the third of 3 straight weeks of PFL semifinal playoff action. Fighter performance rating is new to mixed martial arts. Brought to you by Rich Energy, and let me explain what it is. It's a score between 0 and 100 every single round, based not just on action inside the cage, but the impact those actions have on a fighter's opponent. All of that measured inside the smart cage and pulled into our FTR algorithm. Speaking of smart cage, there it is, our smart cage powered by Flagship Group and IBM partners. Our first bout of the night will be a showcase affair between 2 lightweights. Jacob Kilburn and Brandon Jenkins squaring off for 3 5-minute rounds of professional mixed martial arts action.
All right, Florida, we are ready to get the evening started, so please welcome the first fighters. In the blue corner, Brandon Jenkins.
Brandon Jenkins coming to you from Las Vegas and Syndicate MMA. He calls himself the human highlight reel. Considers himself a striker. He's got 8 knockouts to his credit. He's also got 3 submissions, so he's a pretty well-rounded fighter. Going to be interesting to see him make an impression on the bosses here tonight in this showcase fight.
And his opponent, Jacob Kilburn.
Jacob Kilburn, guys, I gotta tell you, I'm familiar with him. He used to win the boys over in Las Vegas for a while. I will tell you, when I spoke to one of his coaches last week, coming outside of a restaurant, he shared with me that he thinks Kilburn loves his right hand a little too much, says that he has to give a little bit more faith into the wrestling. That's something they've worked on, which is mixing it up well. I will tell you one other thing about Kilburn, which whenever he throws a combination with his hands, you can be sure a kick is to follow.
With that, we will take a look at our tail of the tape for this first showcase bout. Brandon Jenkins, 3 years the elder. He's also 3 inches taller, but it's Jacob Kilburn with the reach advantage. Lillian Garcia gets the night started.
Well, good evening, everyone. We are live from Hollywood, Florida, with the 2021 PFL playoffs. 2 divisions remain, and they're looking to punch their way to the PFL championship. And now we begin the evening with a showcase bout in the lightweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a striker. Standing at 6 feet tall, he officially weighs in at 156 pounds. In 19 professional bouts, he has a record of 13 victories and 6 defeats, with 11 wins by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, here is Brandon, the human highlight reel, Jenkins. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he specializes in judo. Standing at 5'9", he officially weighs in at 154 1/2 pounds. In 12 professional bouts, he has a record of 8 victories and 4 defeats, with 6 wins by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, here is Jacob the Killer Kilburn. Your referee in charge, Gary Copeland.
We've got a killer fighting in our first bout of the night, and also a killer fighting in our main event tonight. So we'll bookend the evening with 2 guys called the Killer. Kilburn is in the red trunks, Brandon Jenkins in the black and gray. Jenkins in that loose southpaw stance, Kilburn orthodox. Low kicks exchange right off the top. Oh! They're getting right to it there in the center of our PFL Smart Cage. Push kick from Kilburn.
Hail, Deva. Glad to have met. Hail, Deva.
He's
Got a tight clinch there. Jenkins is going to need to use that. Bring those knees up a couple times. They don't need to be hard right there, Randy. They just need to connect.
Absolutely. There, Kilburn catches one, almost able to put Jenkins on his back by catching that knee.
Easy teleport, Deva. Ion, guide your
Kilburn doing
path.
a good job with shoulder pressure here. He's got his right knee inside. I'd like to see his left knee. I think he'd have a couple more options. That right knee's almost trapped him. He's going to be able to hold his opponent there, but I don't know that he's going to be able to sweep until he can get that leg free. Doing a good job, though. Head's in the right spot, shoulders pushing in.
Knee to the body there from Jenkins as he tries to work his own back off the smart cage barrier. Successful. A 1-2 just missed it. There's the low calf kicks that have become the hottest move in all of mixed martial arts lately.
Did you get stung with any of those, Chael?
You know what, in practice, one time by Benson Henderson, and Randy, I swear to goodness, I thought he was trying to kick me in the thigh, and he kept missing. At the end of the workout, I said, Benson, you didn't land a shot all day. He goes, yeah, but it hurts, doesn't it? That's how I learned. Oh, he was aiming for the calf. I didn't even know it. Didn't know the technique.
These two lightweights swinging away once again in the center. Wheel kick just misses for Kilburn. Overhand right caught Jenkins behind the ear.
Need to concentrate.
Kilburn very fluid with these
Ion,
strikes.
guide your path.
Ooh, that was a nasty check.
Jenkins seems very committed to being a relaxed fighter, but Randy, there's a point where you're too relaxed. At some point, Jenkins is going to need to get a little offense off, not just try to show us that these strikes aren't affecting him.
Yeah, he's for the most part trying to be a counter striker. He's letting Kilburn control the center of the cage and really dictate the action.
I see customer.
It's almost an oxymoron, a commitment to relaxation.
Yes. And hey, I'll give it to him. He's going, the strategy he's going for. Oh. The relaxed, it is working. He is absorbing these shots, but at some point, you got to beat the clock and you got to impress the judges.
Impressive flurry from Kilburn there. And we've seen Jenkins switching stances back and forth. He's orthodox for now. We saw that left hand he landed just a minute ago. Was on.
Oh, big knee. That's it.
Kilburn is down and out. Brandon Jenkins timed it perfectly. Switch step jumping knee. What a finish
Welcome, Deva.
in his PFL debut.
Wow, now we know why they call him the human highlight reel.
Apparently, it pays to stay calm and relaxed out there, huh? He knew exactly what he was looking for. He saw that opportunity. He left the ground about a feet there. Even LeBron James would be impressed at that elevation.
I want a full-time job.
You hear Jenkins in there saying, I want a full-time job. And that's the beauty of the PFL regular season playoff and championship format. You get signed by the PFL, you know that at least for that next season, you're active, you're scheduled.
Oh! Boom. Wow. Really nice switch kick to the flying knee. Travels a lot of distance, gets there and lands it right on the chin of Kilburn.
That switching knee is very confusing, guys. Watch what you have to look for. Boom. You guys remember the Karate Kid? It's the whole reason Danielson knocked that guy out, because he changed legs. This is the same thing. In all fairness, look, one leg comes, but boom, it comes from behind. If you are in Kilburn's spot, you defend the first knee successfully. Surprise, the other knee's coming at your face.
The crane kick was illegal, okay? But that flying knee is definitely allowed under the PFL mixed martial arts
I
rule.
beg to differ. I'm pretty sure I'm missing 4 front teeth from a crane kick.
Brandon Jenkins victorious. There's our Cageonomics stats bundle presented by Geico. Jenkins only landed 8 of them, but one was a big one. Official call next.
Tickets are on sale now to MMA's biggest night, the 2021 PFL World Championship. 6 title fights on one card. Winner of each gets $1 million. Buy tickets now at PFLMMA.com/tickets. For breaking news and updates on all the PFL World Championship, be sure to follow the PFL on social media at PFL MMA.
Nice work on that, Chill. More action still to come this week. Fighters have prepared for their semifinals in the Fujik training room, built especially for the 2021 PFL playoffs. There's Brendan Loughnane. You're going to see him later tonight in our featherweight main event.
You have business with me?
Look at those gorgeous mats.
Yes, and
Beautiful
you are?
Bag, Fuji. Nice work. But first, we got some more showcase action. That's Alejandro Flores. He's a big favorite in his showcase bout at featherweight. Will he justify those expectations? Well, this man is looking to stand in his way. Carl Dayton. A tough person to put away when we return. Showcase action at 145.
I had an opportunity to talk to Dennis. He just said, look, we expect big things out of Dayton. Said he's got a lot of experience. He started in this sport a little bit later. I said, what's that mean? He said, well, he was 18 years old. A lot of guys have a background, but Carl walked in day one. Said, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a kickboxer. I want to be a mixed martial artist. Coach Dennis told him, then let's get started.
And his opponent, Alejandro Flores.
Alejandro Flores out of Monterrey, Nuevo Leon in Mexico. I'm surprised he's not walking out with his cowboy hat. He had his cowboy hat on at the weigh-ins, a la Cowboy Cerrone. This kid considers himself a kickboxer. He's got 6 knockouts to his credit, but he's got 2 submissions and 10 decisions, so he's a pretty well-rounded fighter. It'll be interesting to see what he brings to this smart cage.
We'll take a look at our tail of the tape in this featherweight showcase bout. Carl Dayton, 1 year older. Alejandro Flores is 2 inches taller and has a very significant 7-inch reach advantage on the arms. Lillian Garcia starts the ball.
In the PFL playoffs, it's win or go home. And now we continue the prelims with a showcase bout in the featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He is a wrestler. Standing at 5'7", he officially weighs in at 146 pounds. In 18 professional fights, he has a record of 13 wins, 4 losses, and 1 no contest, with 10 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Mount Pleasant, Michigan, here is CD3, Carl Dayton. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a kickboxer. Standing at 5'9", he officially weighs in at 145 1/2 pounds. In 21 professional fights, he has a record of 18 wins and 3 losses, with 8 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, Mexico, here is Alejandro El Gallito Flores. Your referee in charge, Keith Peterson.
Flores, one of the biggest betting favorites on our showcase card tonight. Keith Peterson is equipped with our ref cam to give us an inside look at the action. There's an example of how close he can get us to those fighters. Flores in the green trunks, Dayton in the black and gray. Feeling out process begins here in the center of the PFL Smart Kick. Flores misses with an inside kick.
He pulled it up, Sean. He started to throw that and said, you know what? I don't think he just pulled, he put the tape in rewind. That kick usually sends you to 360. You look like a fool. Flores was able to stop it. Good body control. I'm going to give him that.
Touches the knee of Dayton with the outside leg kick there.
That leg kick business can be a risky game. We've seen a lot of that in MMA lately. Sometimes you have to ask the question, is the squeeze worth the juice? And generally the rule, fellas, is start everything with your hands, finish with the kick. And I do see guys getting in trouble when they don't set it up and go to that kick first. Whether Flores is getting away with it right now or not, I still maintain you can hide it behind some hands, you're a little safer.
Little cup check there with the open stance. You know what happens sometimes. The inside leg kick straight high for Flores. Dayton says it's all right. Let's get back to it with a touch of the gloves. Switch of the stance. Back and forth goes Flores. Dayton jumps in behind a leaping hook. Is greeted with a couple of shots to the body. Now Flores taunting a little bit as he paws out the jab.
I think Flores thought he hurt Dayton. He charged in, looking to put a finish on it. I don't think Dayton was hurt.
I think he slipped, and he ran. It looked like he slipped. Flores just read it.
It did look like he slipped.
Back to the southpaw stance goes Flores. Orthodox once again, giving different looks to Dayton, who doggedly moves forward in the center of the cage.
You guys, when you see a fight like this that's very kick-heavy in the onset, because the guys get afraid to close that range, to get within an arm's reach, that's where the danger can happen.
Kicking range and punching range are two different things. These guys are staying out at kicking range mostly.
Well, Dayton just closed in, and Flores greeted him with a sharp knee right up the middle. That might be why Dayton has been hesitant to jump in. Nice timing by Flores. Stomp kick to the front of the leg there for Flores, landing on Dayton.
Dayton, I can see that jab, guys. It's right there, that left. He's just got to bring it up. He's got to reach that out. Whether it gets to the target or not, he's got to start finding his range and measuring.
Flores putting his reach advantage on display here early. He's the one keeping Dayton out at distance. Dayton's having to commit hard just to try and close in.
Dayton's left hand, it's loose, it's right there, but it's got to go in a forward direction. He's not going to open himself up. He can use the other hand to cross block. He needs to work on this. When he watches the tape later, Dayton, you got to pump that jab on. Right now.
Gets inside, throws a hook. Bit of a scoop right hand right up the middle, scored on Flores. Flores continues to work his own jab. Goes down to the body with it. Just one out to the thigh, it would appear. Front kick misses for Dayton.
It's the second week in a row we've seen that thigh punch.
And 2 weeks ago we saw the calf punch as well. Gotta say, Randy, I'm glad I'm out of the game if I'm gonna be expected to throw punches to people's legs. You know? 1 minute remains here in round number 1. Body shot from Flores. He tries to dig to the liver. Measured pace here in the first frame. These two fighters showing each other a lot of respect, trying to solve the puzzle of timing.
Again, with those hands, fellas, I really got to point this out, the lack of boxing. It's not because these guys don't know how to do it. I can see by their basics. I can see how these hands are up and moving. They're not finding that range, Randy. They're scared to step in. I'm only arguing over 3 inches right now.
Yep, they're both staying out at long range and kicking range. Neither one willing to step into the pocket. Dayton is trying to counterpunch. He's waiting for Flores to stick something out, and then he's counterpunching and moving into the pocket where he can land.
Combination there from Flores. He finishes it with a kick, goes to the body. 2 kicks in a row from Flores as we hear the 10-second clapper. Round 1 will come to a close with a minor flurry. Dayton charging forward. Little trash talk between rounds here. Round 2 ahead.
You need a clear line of sight. That's the wrong target.
Welcome back to Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. Featherweight showcase action inside our PFL Smart Cage between Mexico's Alejandro Flores and Carl Dayton, coming to us out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Here's a quick replay. Walk me through it, Chael.
All right, these guys are trying to exchange again for more of this kicking range. Well, that becomes a little bit of a game of footsie. If you lose your balance, you can go down. I saw that sweep had happened earlier in the contest, but Flores ultimately did change elevation, went a little higher, and that one was clean.
Flores in the green trunks, Dayton in the black and gray. Fighter performance rating brought to you by Rich Energy in the favor of Dayton there in round number 1. Interesting observation from the algorithm.
Very close, 31-28. Can't see some damage on the lead leg of Dayton. Those low calf kicks and knee. That knee kind of side savate kick both landed.
They tried it again, just as you said it, Randy. That one missed. Nice movement by Dayton.
Oh, there's that savate. That one hurt.
Body shot, and they both finish up high.
Flores is running in with that liver punch, and he's landed 2 for 2. He's pretty tricky at it. I wonder what would happen if he disguised it just a little better, a little more traditional. Get that cross in there, dip outside. Dayton's waiting. I'm seeing Dayton let Flores dictate this fight a little too much. Again, I want Dayton to pump that jab, but either way, he needs to start taking control. Guys, a fight is a dance. Only one person can lead at a time, and this has been all Flores.
Almost on cue. Dayton comes with a 1-2-3. Flores is able to move backward and responds with a leg kick. Flores at the tail of the tape, the longer fighter, and he's also fighting longer, Randy.
Yeah, absolutely. I get the respect that these two are showing for each other, but you're here in a showcase bout to impress somebody in the PFL. You better be going out there and trying to finish fights, because that's how we score points to move on in this league.
Certainly. This obviously not a regular season fight, but Randy's point is well made. If you're trying to earn a spot on the roster, a careful decision, strategic victory might not be the way to do it. Oh, for Dayton lands. Sits down Flores.
As quick as that was, Sean, you saw the difference in the power that the hands can do. Leg kicks are an investment. That'll pay off a little later, slow the guy's mobility down. Hands, right now, that's what the judges are looking for. That score.
And we saw Dayton just reset after the knockdown. Is that the right thing to do, or should he have rushed in and tried to make something happen and capitalize?
Well, Flores recovered really quickly. I mean, the second his butt hit the turf, he was back up. A little flash, but he was right there. He wasn't gone at all. So it could be risky to rush in and rush into something.
Well, what a difference a day makes, guys. I mean, that just changed the entire way. Dayton just changed the entire assessment we would have for this fight. I believe he was losing first 7 minutes of this contest. I believe he's now ahead on this round, which could even things out. Should we see a third?
And the Smart Cage telling you that the live odds are changing in the moment. Dayton's still an underdog even after the sit down, and even after fighter performance rating gave him round 1. Again, judges are not privy to fighter performance rating. We have seen judges' decisions in FPR being consistent. Flores back in a southpaw stance, and now Dayton once again stepping in. Blood running from the nose of Flores. Dayton plants a foot on the cage. He said, I'll give you 2.
Deaton's range really is this boxing range. They're standing at a kicking range right now. That's what Flores wants to be. Boom. Every time Deaton double crosses that in-run agreement, Deaton scores. I would encourage him to do it a little more often.
Deaton's being very selective, picking his opportunities to punch his way in and land some of those combinations.
The straight right left hook has been the combination of choice for Dayton. He wears another kick to his own body from a charging Flores there.
Randy, I'm thinking from Dayton, I'm thinking a little jab, I'm thinking slide in 3 or 4 inches, then repeat and do it again. I just argue he's costing him. He's just on the outside. I'm talking about 1/2 a step here could really change the offense that he's mounting.
When he decides to go, he makes that commitment and he goes all the way. But I think it's too little and too few. He needs to be a more offensive fighter. Oh, boy.
Nasty kick lands from Flores. We saw the switch knee in the first bout. That was a switch jumping high kick here in the second bout.
Dayton didn't answer for it either. Dayton let him get away with it. Judges are looking at these last 20 seconds, gentlemen.
Here comes the 10-second clapper, round 2 coming to a close. Once again, a strategic striking battle, a measured pace. Dayton tries to leap in and a check right hook to finish. Little flurry right at the end will stay between rounds. Flores goes back to his corner with some blood coming from the nose.
Move closer to your
Both men had their moments in round 2, Randy.
Absolutely. Both guys land nice kicks, nice punches. The most significant stuff came from Dayton. Rip to the body, nice hook right to the face, sets Flores right on his hind end. Flores pops right back up though, recovers very, very quickly.
That is our key combo presented by Lightboxer. Straight right to the body, left hook. Take a seat, young man.
Move closer.
Nice recovery by Alejandro Flores, though.
Gentlemen, there's always an interesting conversation from the announce team in moments like this. In boxing, that would be a 10-9, wouldn't matter. One knockdown versus none, you win the round. It doesn't have to be that way in MMA. It doesn't have to.
That front kick, kind of a flying front kick, right up the middle. Caught Dayton flush on the face, spun him around a bit.
We get ready for our third and final round. Take a look at Fighter Performance Rating brought to you by Rich Energy. I'm told there was a correction to the first round FPR score. Okay, corrected score gives Flores round 1 and Dayton round 2. So it's 1 apiece according to the algorithm.
And I'm only looking for one thing right now, gentlemen. I'm not looking for range. If they stay in kicking range, where most of this has been, look for it to favor Flores. If Dayton can double cross that, get inside where the hands matter, look for him to take over the round.
Heavy leg kick from Dayton there. We've seen a lot of jumping techniques from both of these guys. Jumping knees. Flores quadruples up his jab there. Moves to his left.
I think that's probably an indication that both these guys are trying to be explosive, trying to be dynamic.
Most of this fight has happened in the center of the smart cage, as our Acronis fight tracker would indicate. Carl Dayton especially liking to stay inside those indicator lines.
I like Dayton's fundamentals. I don't like that he won't take a step in. Look, if Flores is going to move and Dayton can't control that, fine, let him, but you got to step lateral. You got to cut him off. Try to get Flores to the fence. Anything to slow him down so we can make Queensberry rules and hands a little bit more of the offensive strategy by Dayton.
The right hand snuck through there. One at a time right now for Dayton. Now he goes jab and a hook to follow. Chael, especially when he walks Flores back here to the barrier, it's an opportunity. He can really close there.
Absolutely, cut him off. Look, Flores is moving a lot, but Dayton does need to take ground. He can do that by cutting him off. Dayton seems a little happy to be a counter fighter. He's had some good moments, but he's halfway through a round. If we are tied up 1 apiece, these next 2.5 minutes really matter, and I think that Dayton needs to quit letting Flores decide and dictate where the range is.
Flores began this fight as a pretty heavy betting favorite. The live odds have now switched in the favor of Carl Dayton, and they switch one more time, make it that much more lopsided. Round 3 is more than halfway gone. Still waiting for the big moment in the third frame. Spinning back fist misses for Flores.
You can't attack that now.
Blood on the right side of Carl Dayton's face. Looks like a cut under the eye, perhaps.
Not only have we not seen this fight go to the ground, we haven't seen either athlete attempt to take it to the ground. This has not been about defensive wrestling. It's been about removal of offensive wrestling. I think he needs to commit here. I really do. I'm being hard on him, but I'm seeing promise. When he lets those hands go.
I agree. Use that footwork, pick those opportunities to enter and throw punches, not just be a counter fighter.
Flores keeping in the range. There's another punch to the thigh. Flores doing a good job of keeping the fight out where he wants it, Randy, but his own offensive output has dropped.
That's an invalid.
I agree. I think if you've got that lead, that reach advantage, you use that jab, find your way in, land those shots, follow it up with good combinations, and let those hands go.
Nice little capoeira technique there. Flores plants a hand and throws a long leg kick. The jab once again keeps Dayton at bay. Looks like Dayton was loading up for combo. That time he goes. Inside of 1 minute now here in our third and final round in this featherweight showcase bout.
Notice now Dayton's starting to cut him off. This is the first time of the night, but he is starting to cut him off. Dayton is going to look for one last explosive flurry here. He's starting to measure him, but he's got to step. We're only talking about 4 inches here, guys, but he's got to step in.
Takedown attempt from Dayton, perhaps trying to steal the round. Flores having none of it.
I don't fault that strategy. I see what Dayton was thinking there. Should that have worked, it would have gained him a little favor. Now he's going to have to let those hands go. We're closing in on 20 seconds.
Dayton's got wrestling listed in his specialty. Comes from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. That is wrestling country. Guys kicking you like that, throwing those long kicks and crazy high kicks. It's a great time to time a guy and take him down.
Another back fist attempt. Dayton leaping with his own knee. That'll be it. 3 5-minute rounds in the books. Flores and Dayton shaking hands, having a conversation, an intense battle. Very interesting. This is a tough one to score if you're one of the judges because there was a lack of commitment. As a person with a passive commitment issues, Chael, I can tell you that it makes for interesting judging.
Sure, but then you default down to activity, and I really thought that favored Flores.
Cagenomics Stats Bundle presented by Geico has the count in favor of Flores. A bloody face for Dayton. How will the judges see it? We find out next.
An incorrect target is selected.
Fighter performance rating brought to you by Rich Energy gives rounds 1. Remember that was an adjusted score, and rounds 3 to Alejandro Flores. 2 very close margins according to the algorithm. Round 2 went to Carl Dayton. That, if you remember, was when he landed the straight right to the body and then the left hook and sat Alejandro Flores down. Perhaps the most significant moment in the fight, but this one goes to the judges. How will they see it? We'll find out in a second. Randy, we'll find out how you saw it. Chael Sonnen sitting in this week. We find out how he saw it. Okay, they agree. with fighter performance rating. Both Randy and Chael think that Flores did enough. What will the judges say? For that, we go to Lillian Garcia. Perhaps we'll have to wait just a little bit longer. The judges taking some time. That oftentimes indicates a split decision, a careful tally. We'll take a look at a couple of replays. Walk me through these, Chael Sonnen.
All right, hey, this was the story of the fight, and more not just the kicks, but the range. And Flores was very good over the course of the evening of not letting Dayton know where he was going to attack. It could be the face, it could be the knee, it could be in between in the body, but that is how he kept the distance.
Dayton with the fake right hand, jumps in with that straight, long left. Here's a rip to the body, hook to the face. This is the one that sets Flores on his backside. Flores recovers instantly. The fish hook.
Oh!
There's one you don't see very often.
Hard to deny that one.
The fish hook.
Oh!
There's one you don't see very often.
Hard to deny that one, Randy.
Yeah.
I think inadvertent.
Yeah, accidental.
That's just the hands.
Flores was trying the spinning elbow, I think, and Dayton just jumped in and ended up with his fingers in his mouth.
Got to bite down on that mouthpiece, especially when you're spinning around. Okay, the much anticipated, long-awaited Lillian Garcia decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Daniel Torres scores the contest 29-28 for Flores. Judge John Rupert scores it 29-28 for Dayton. And Judge Elian Rodriguez has it 29-28 for your winner by split decision, Alejandro Flores!
In a close one, the judges agree with FPR and Randy and Chael. Ultimately, Alejandro Flores successful in his PFL debut.
Your target is out of your line of sight.
Don't forget, coming up, playoff coverage continuing on ESPN2 and on ESPN Plus. It's 4 winner-go-home semifinals at 10 Eastern. Our main event, the killer Movlid Khaibulaev against Brendan Loughnane, plus 2019 PFL light heavyweight champion. That's Emiliano Sordi. He'll take on Shoeface Antonio Carlos Jr. A spot for the 2021 PFL championship on the line for the featherweights and the light heavyweights. Still more fights to come right here on ESPN Plus. 4 left. Shayman Moraes, Lazar Stoyadinovic in our feature bout. Chris Camozzi, Corey Hendricks. Do not sleep on this matchup. That might be the best fight of the whole night. Speaking of Shayman Moraes getting gloved up, we'll see him in a featured bout here on ESPN Plus. Quick little flashback. He's coming off a win. He's coming off a win over Jesse Stern. Nice right hand from Shayman Moraes back on June 10th. Pounding away at the body. And Chael, I made a big mistake here. I thought we were going to end the round. 10-second clapper sound that said, I will ride out for round 2. No! Shayman Moraes pulls that thing out with a second left.
Protect yourself at all times, Sean.
Shayman Moraes, that's what he's capable of when we see something like that. Again, later tonight, he'll face Lazar Stoyadinovic in a feature bout. I saw Lazar in the hotel this week. Cut weight, he's wearing full slicks, full sweatsuit, pushing a cart of groceries. I said, what are you doing? Torturing yourself? When you're cutting weight, you don't want to be doing grocery shopping. That's coming up later. But for now, let's go back to our betting experts, Jonathan Coachman and Ian Parker. See what they have to say about the night.
Yeah, Sean, such a big part of what we do here at the PFL, certainly courtesy of DraftKings. We've got a lot to get to as far as ESPN2 is concerned, but here on ESPN Plus, our very next fight. Ian, you targeted this one on the pre-show, and you said you love one of these fighters. Who do you like?
I like Bobby Moffett in his fight against Jason Knight. I believe in his last fight against Bubba Jenkins, we saw a lot of improvements over Moffett, what we've seen in his career. His striking was there. His cardio almost got him the win, and his submission game is very sneaky. I just don't think that Knight has fought the same level of competition over the last few years. I like Moffett here to get it done, and to cash us at -165.
All right, our very first play of the night, but certainly we've got a lot on the board. Let's get to it, Sean. We are ready. We'll be back right after this on ESPN Plus.
Jason Knight.
This season, PFL fans can vote on the fan favorite finish. A $5,000 bonus is awarded to the winning PFL fighter, and all you need is the PFL fan token, which is available at Socios.com. This is in the running. For the PFL playoff event last week, Kayla Harrison's first round TKO of Jenna Fabian. Nasty ground and pound for the two-time Olympic judo gold medalist. Winner will be announced on October 27th at the PFL World Championship. Download the Socios.com app, get your PFL fan token, and participate in votes that shape the league. More showcase featherweight action now. Jason Knight, Bobby Moffett, the Kid versus the Wolfman.
All right, Hard Rock, let's get the next fighters to the cage. First, Bobby Moffett.
You know, the buck stops with Bobby Moffett. I really got to mean that, guys. You talk about a cage fighter. Throw out the mixed martial arts, throw out all the colored belts. You talk about somebody that gets in the cage when the referee says, are you ready to fight? And he says yes, for me, Bobby Moffett is that guy.
Bobby Moffett, his last fight against a very talented, nasty Bubba Jenkins, Moffett gave him all he could handle.
His opponent, Jason Knight.
Jason Knight coming to us out of Mississippi is a jiu-jitsu practitioner, 22 victories on his record. 15 of those victories come by way of submission. So I would venture a guess that you're gonna see Jason Knight try and get this fight to the ground and put it where he's comfortable.
I saw Jason in the elevator yesterday. He said, Shale, go tell the audience something nice about me. I said, Jason, is there anything nice about you? He goes, you know what? He goes, tell him that instead. I said, deal, walked away. True story.
Jason Knight on his knees, perhaps beseeching a higher power. And here's our tale of the tape. Bobby Moffitt, 2 years older. Jason Knight is an inch taller, and yet Bobby Moffitt with a 4-inch reach advantage. Lillian Garcia starts the action.
Welcome back to the PFL Smart Cage, where we continue the action in the featherweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Standing at 5'10", he officially weighs in at 148 1/4 pounds. In 20 professional bouts, he has a record of 13 wins, 6 losses, and 1 no contest, with 9 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Homewood, Illinois, here is Bobby Wolfman Moffitt. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is also a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Sitting at 5'11", he officially weighs in at 145 3/4 pounds. In 28 professional bouts, this veteran has an impressive record of 22 wins and 6 losses with 18 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Bluestill, Mississippi, here is Jason the Kid Knight. Your referee in charge, Larry Folsom.
Larry Folsom equipped the ref cam. He will oversee the action. Jason Knight in the green trunks, Bobby Moffitt in the black and gray.
You ready? Go!
Touch of the gloves, and we are underway for another featherweight showcase affair. Jason Knight stepping in behind that pawing jab.
Both athletes like to list themselves as jiu-jitsu fighters, but if you look at their record, it tells a bit of a different story. Plenty of knockouts spread around this cage.
For all his jiu-jitsu grounds, Jason Knight took a brief hiatus from mixed martial arts to go try out some bare-knuckle boxing. Not a whole lot of jiu-jitsu there. Low calf kick compromising the balance of Knight there. Bobby Moffitt tests one up high as well.
You'll notice with Knight, you know, he's got this length, he's got this height, he's made for the weight class, but a lot of guys don't know how to use that. Knight does. Knight knows how to keep that distance and he knows how to take it away.
Moffitt continues to lead his combination of kicks. Dives down for a double leg here.
Knight's got opportunity if you can get those hips back. You have to spin and get those hips back.
Knight on the back and north-south.
You'll notice that Moffitt's head is trapped between the legs. He needs to push that knee off and get his head clear. Take a look at this, guys. I want to show you right here. This is the head. This head has got to come through the hole. He wants to bring it right over this hip. By the way, while I'm here, guys, hello, Mom. I'm learning that. What? Oh, you gonna give a shout out? You tell me what you do in my spot.
Oh, topside triangle.
Yep.
Inverted. Wow.
Target selected.
Wow.
Randy, how can he manipulate that arm? Has he got to reach underneath and pull that wrist across?
It's about getting the right hip position to apply that groin or hamstring muscle to one carotid and be able to create the leverage to drive his shoulder into that other carotid.
Only 3 minutes left. Moffitt's going to find himself in a real predicament here. Unless Knight's, because you can fatigue yourself. You can really fatigue your own legs right here. Knight needs to keep this lock while staying relaxed. A little easier said than done.
Moffitt now trying to stack up, shake Knight off the top.
This is going to go from bad to worse, Sean, if he keeps sitting like this.
Well, I'll tell you what, one of the really unfortunate things about being underneath in a situation like this is you don't often drill being caught in a position as unorthodox as this. So the defense is not as instinctual sometimes.
And believe it or not, if Moffitt can freeze the position right here, he'll be safer than any other spot. He sits back, he's going to get his ribs worked. He comes over top, he's going to get finished. He needs to run the clock out here or get Knight to give up on the position.
Moffitt trying to work his own left arm back, and this is what you were talking about. Now Knight stepping up over, trying to grab the left wrist of Bobby Moffitt, pull his arm across, because that creates the pressure you were talking about, Randy. If he can get his left arm across the face,
too far away.
then the deltoid starts to press on that left carotid.
Absolutely.
Move, you can't
Needs that
attack.
proper angle with his hips to apply pressure on both sides of that neck to create the squeeze.
These are big punches to the lower ribs from Knight on top. 90 seconds still to work from here.
My goodness, Randy, do you remember when Phil Baroni was training with us and Phil would do that to the body shot? You could hear it, you could dig it even in practice. I haven't heard a body shot hurt like that since we were in the back room and Baroni was dropping it. I think on the late great Evan Tanner, if I remember correctly.
That's correct. It's what got my attention too.
Moffitt able to work out. Moffitt broke the body lock, peeled the leg off, and now they're back on their feet with 1 minute remaining in the first round.
Moffitt should feel very good about that. That was a mental exercise to be tough. He withstood it.
I think Knight's shaking his legs out, trying to get some blood flowing after being locked on there for so long.
Knight on Corsic, 1-2, one to the body. Little blood trickling from the face of Bobby Moffitt, maybe a small cut under the left eye.
Couple good shots there by Moffitt to finish out the round.
Moffitt definitely moving forward now.
Inside of 30 seconds here. Moffitt pressing the action here at the tail end of the first round. Landed a hook. And a body kick.
Nice
that
body.
hurt him.
That dug in for sure.
And now Bobby Moffitt going to work. Grabs a clinch and a knee as we finish the round with these two dirty boxing against the barrier. Round 2 ahead.
You need a clear line of sight.
Here you go, here's the double leg, second effort. Moffitt in on the shot, but Knight taking advantage of the situation. He gets control with that inverted triangle, and he just wears out the kidneys of Moffitt from that top position. I think he's putting a period on that tattoo. And here's Moffitt coming on strong at the end of the round.
That's what we call a receipt, Randy. That's called getting even. You came after my body, I'm coming after yours.
Ready? Ready?
Jason Knight in the green trunks, Bobby Moffitt in the black and gray, the second of 3 5-minute rounds in featherweight showcase action.
Hey, those body shots are no joke, guys. That's not just to give you guys at home a laugh. You can see how Moffitt is moving right now. He's favoring that side. He's pushing through it, but he's feeling that in his midsection.
Fighter performance rating presented by Rich Energy favored Knight in that first round, but Bobby Moffitt roared back at the tail end of the round to score pretty well himself.
See if Moffitt can keep that momentum going that he generated at the end of that first round.
Moffitt wants to get this fight to the ground, guys, but I think he should maybe second-guess that strategy. He does a good job on his feet when he's active. If he's not taking control, right, the best offense is a good defense, and I will tell you, the best defense is a good offense. When Moffitt isn't staying busy, that's when Knight's attacking him. That scored.
Nice kick there, goes up high for Moffitt. And a knee to the body. He's able to move off the center line with even close. Now he's down on a single leg here.
Head inside single by Moffitt. Triangle attempt by Knight. Moffitt savvy enough to pull himself out of the situation.
I would argue a tactical error, Randy. I do not think Knight needed to pull guillotine there. It did not look like he's going to get it, particularly with the fence being there, and now he has lost position.
Agree 100%, Chael.
Live on moving in the favor of Bobby Moffitt. He finds himself in the half mount.
That knee, OCD on the knee, push it to the mat. That's how you're going to get the pass.
Jason Knight trying to grab a butterfly. His own right leg. Moffitt settling into some work.
A little payback on the kidneys there by Moffitt. But oh, you want to put a period on my tattoo? How about I put a period on your tattoo?
How about that?
Knight's saying something. I can't tell if he's talking to Moffitt or the referee, but Knight is verbalizing something.
It looked like he was talking to the ref.
Joe, you can see that clearly because of the ghost cam. Brand new technology in the PFL that eliminates the chain link. We're actually looking through the card cage right now. You can't tell.
Greenberg was very proud of that, and I was impressed when he showed me that. Guys, I do want to talk about this position. My guess is that Knight's telling the referee, bring us up, nothing's happening. He's got an argument. If Moffitt wants to do damage from a ground and pound, he needs to sit up. He needs to create space. We call that posturing up so that you can pound hard. I don't know that Moffitt does want to pound. I believe he wants to pass, which is why his head is staying low.
Knight works his way back to his feet. And look, let's be honest. If you're asking the referee to stand you up, it's far from likely that the referee is going to take those instructions.
Whoa, Moffitt with the big double. Tries to pull the slam off. That's a pretty sticky Jason Knight, though. He wasn't following too much for that.
Knight's got his left leg high up here for a lockdown. He'll try with enough flexibility to pull his own shin across the throat of Bobby Moffitt.
Knight's got good flexibility. Look, the only thing that Moffitt can't do is sit up in that position. He can't let there be any space, and he's not. Moffitt is driving his head forward, and that's what's stopping Bobby.
He really needs to put it in reverse, Moffitt does, and rip out of that position and then come right back in on top and get a better position. That mission control can be very difficult to deal with if you haven't spent a lot of time there.
Going to see him pass here, Randy. If he can stack him, and he does, he needs to pick a side and turn him.
Front quarter Nelson by Moffitt.
I believe I'm seeing Moffitt strategically kind of doing some math in his head, and the math looks like this. I'm down around. If I can stay on top and keep control, I can even things up, and we're about looking good next round.
He can punch, if he can peel Knight's head underneath, he can punch his left arm through for a Darce attempt, but Knight is able to recover with those long, flexible legs. Now he's got the body lock, closing his own guard. He'll try and turn on an arm bar here. Moffitt able to square the hips back up to negate it.
Moffitt is crowding. All of his defense has to do with crowding to stop space. I like what Randy said. Big movement, pull out. That way when you return, you've got the opportunity to pound a little bit.
Here's that go-go plata.
He's almost got his shin in position. See him get that shin over the shoulder, under the chin, and he'll lock on that head.
He switches into a triangle. Didn't have enough time for the go-go
looks like it might be tight. He might run out of time.
It's tight, but no time and no ability to get the right arm of Moffitt across his own face. Nice transition in the submission attempts there. We'll stay here for the break. Jason Knight getting a drink. Bobby Moffitt sits on the stool for a little Zen breathing. Here comes some replays, Chael.
Right hand by Moffitt, guys. I thought Moffitt did a good job on his feet. I realized that Knight's controlling range, but when Moffitt let things go, and all of his strikes had to do with getting it to the ground for this position. Look, Knight's telling the referee he's not doing anything, bring me up. Easier argument to make when you're in full guard. This is the second attempt. What goes up? Basic gravity, gentlemen. What goes up must come down, and Knight cooperated just a little bit. Knight was happy to be in this position, thought he could find a submission. 4 minutes later, round comes to an end, and now you've got to leave it to the judges. Are they going to favor attempts or position?
Jason Knight in the green trunks, Bobby Moffett in the black and gray third of 3 5-minute rounds.
I've got this 1 round apiece.
FPR says it's Moffett by a strong margin in round 2. Jill, you're right. Bobby Moffett doing a great job here on the feet. He landed a body kick, a nice sharp one to the low calf. PFL, regular season, playoffs, and a championship playoff action. Semifinals later tonight. This division featherweight and in light heavyweight. Moffett grabs a tied plum and gets 1 knee for it.
And you have to believe it to see it, not see it to believe it. Your eyes are lying to you. While Knight looks to be more dynamic and a little more fluid, Moffett is scoring. There's no air balls coming in the striking department by Bobby Knight. He needs to scramble here. This is going to be a big deal. If he can defend this takedown, he's going to take a lot out of Knight morally. This is a lot of effort. Knight needs this.
He climbs right up on to the back, the old Mississippi backpack. Bobby Moffett trying to roll out of it, and he's able to.
Huge exchange.
Nice little fat man roll by Moffett to change the position.
That is a huge exchange. Moffett did not want to be on bottom. Knight just used a lot of energy. And why this looks clever, and you're at home going, I don't know what he's doing here. Let me tell you what he's not doing. He's not going to finish the fight from this position. I'm talking about Knight. He's going to need to advance this.
Can you call it a fat man roll when it's featherweights pulling it off, Randy?
It's still the technique.
Names matter, Sean, right? He's not making these names up. That's what it's called.
You gotta call it something else.
That's
Look at that
interesting.
facial frame from Bobby Moffett.
I'm not sure if this is just a lockdown attempt by Knight to lock him down so the referee has to stand them back up. I don't see a submission from that.
And Randy, the referee does have that latitude. However, it would be very uncommon from side control. And I'll put it as uncommon as I've never seen it before. I believe Moffett is going to be able to stay in this position until, and Knight's the one that needs to figure that out. Knight must advance this position even to be eligible for it to be stood back up.
Yep. Knight's got to get his feet back in this fight. He can't allow Bobby Moffett to sit here in cross-side position and ride the minutes out, the seconds out in this round.
Very frustrating for Knight. Knight is trying to fight more than Moffett is. Moffett understands strategy. If he stays here, he's going to be able to run out a lot of clock.
Round 3 is halfway gone. You can see those live odds swinging heavily in the favor of Bobby Moffett. Jason Knight's going to have to get off his back to make something happen.
And Randy, you don't know anything about this from Moffett's standpoint because you've never been tired in a fight, but I have. I have been exhausted, and I have done that math. And I'm telling myself if I'm Moffett, I'm in side control. Referee can't bring it up. I'm not hitting him. He's not eating me. I'm going to win this round. Right or wrong, that is what Moffett is thinking right now, and I think that he might be onto something. Ray Seffel might not come congratulate him after the fight, but he could be onto something in terms of judging the psychology of the officials.
Jason Knight once again talking, I think this time to Bobby Moffett, maybe trying to spur his opponent to some more desperate action, which would create space. Not the worst strategy if you're pinned otherwise.
Moffett content with that deep waist. Capturing those hips of Jason Knight. Now Knight scrambling a little bit.
Moffett will step around to the back. No hooks in yet. Knight getting all the way up.
You're going to see a real sense of urgency here by Moffett. He does not want to let Jason Knight go. He wants to grind this out on the mat. He's going to work hard to return him here.
Double leg, and he does just that. Once again, Jason Knight finds himself underneath the pressure of Bobby Moffett with 1 minute remaining.
Moffett trying to climb into half guard here, or half mount, as you like to call it, Sean.
Moffett using that shoulder, trying to turn the chin away. Again, he's just trying to frustrate Knight. The more he can frustrate him, the longer he can keep him here, which Moffett sees to his advantage.
We're down to 35 seconds left in the third period. Had it 1 round apiece. You know, that takedown and control in the top position could be the difference in this fight right now.
30 seconds left for Knight to make something happen in the referee's stand-up.
Stood him up from half guard. The referee has the right to do that, but I will tell you that is unusual.
Check hook there from Moffett, who once again looks pretty solid on the feet. The onus is on Knight, and he's moving forward. Bobby Moffett grabs a hold of Jason Knight one more time to end this featherweight showcase.
Close.
3 5-minute rounds in the books. Another grueling performance from Bobby Moffett. In 2 PFL bouts, we've seen him go the distance with Bubba Jenkins. That was in a loss. Will we see him get this one on the right side of the ledger? Cageonomics Stats Bundle presented by Geico. Bobby Moffett, 65 of 86 of his total strikes landed. You can see those ground strikes and the takedowns. Will that be the difference? We'll see what the judges say when we return.
The PFL on ESPN Plus is brought to you. The PFL on ESPN Plus is brought to you by DraftKings, an official partner of the Professional Fighters League. Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. CarParts.com. Get the right parts right now at CarParts.com. And by Bose, the official sound of the PFL.
Welcome back to Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Chael Sutton beside the PFL Smart Cage Fighter Performance Rating exclusive to the PFL and brought to you by Rich Energy. First round went to Jason Knight. Round 2 and 3 go to Bobby Moffett, according to the algorithm. Let's take a look at the latest addition to our PFL Smart Cage. The calculated kick speed, exclusive to the PFL and powered by SMT. How fast can Bobby Moffett throw a kick? At least 40 miles an hour. And that one digs into the body. Scored with that a couple of times. Kick speed powered by SMT. I love that. All right, we knew that fighter performance rating gives 2 rounds to Bobby Moffett. That's good enough for a win. Randy Couture and Chael Sutton would agree with the Smart Cage and algorithm. The official judges, well, Lillian has that decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scored the bout 29-28. For your winner by unanimous decision, Bobby Moffett!
A howl from the Wolfman, who breaks a little bit of a losing skid. Successful the first time in the PFL Smart Cage. And worth noting, Ian Parker, the Duck, cashes on that one. He told us that Bobby Moffett would win. Take a look at the CarParts.com damage meter. That's Jason Knight's body that's glowing red because Bobby Moffett put in some work. We saw some of those kicks digging into the liver and ribs. Strong performance from Bobby Moffett in a victory over Jason Knight. You know what? I told you that the Duck just cashed. Let's send it out to our betting experts, Jonathan Coachman and Ian Parker, and see if those fellas are celebrating.
My bad, fellas. I was just a little bit busy right there. So, Ian Parker, we cash our first ticket of the night, Bobby Moffett. Why were you so confident that he would be able to get the job done?
Based on his last fight against Bubba Jenkins, we saw improvements in his game. We know he's got a good top control game, which we saw against Jason Knight, but Chael alluded to this. There were some moments where Moffitt was really winning on the feet. That body kick at the end of round 1 changed it, and on top of that, what I did mention, and I'll say it again with Moffitt, that cardio, that gas tank really got him through rounds 2 and able to grind out round 3, right to the pay window. Coach Bobby Moffitt, let's go.
It's my favorite place to meet you, is at the pay window. We have still more to come as prop bets, then also every bet on all 4 on ESPN2 later tonight. But for right now, let's sit back. Sean, back to you.
Thanks, Coach, and the always humble Ian Parker. But you know what? When the Duck wins, everybody wins. That's good advice. By the way, tickets are on sale now to MMA's biggest night. That's our 2021 PFL World Championship. 6 title fights all on 1 card. The winner of each of those gets $1 million. Buy tickets now at pflmma.com/tickets. That's October 27th, right here at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Oh, and by the way, for breaking news and updates on the PFL World Championship, be sure to follow the PFL on social media at PFL MMA, at PFL MMA. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Still to come on ESPN+. Anthony Dizzy, French wrestler, taking on Jesse Stern. Stern had to step in on short notice for his last fight. He had a full camp for this one. How does it look? We find out next.
Invalid target. The incorrect target is selected.
Still to come on ESPN2 and simulcast here on ESPN Plus. Win or go home semifinal playoff action in our light heavyweight division. Antonio Carlos Jr., Emiliano Sordi in the 1-4. That is our 3 seed, Martin Hamlin. He'll take on number 2, Cesar Mutante Ferreira, the Norwegian wrestler, getting his hands wrapped. Looking to really put a stamp on his young MMA career by earning a place in the PFL World Championship. That's in light heavyweight, and also still to come, featherweight playoff bracket, including our main event, Brendan Loughnane, Moblid Haigulayev. In that one, the 2-3 matchup is 2 Americans, 2 brash and outspoken individuals who've rubbed each other the wrong way for the last several weeks. and we get to see them square off finally inside the Spark Cage tonight. There's Bubba Badman Jenkins. A pillow on the mat, so not get warm just yet. Having a nice little rest. Winner of 5 straight. And at the press conference, Bubba said this: in your MMA career, every 5 fights, that's a milestone. You try to get to the next 5. You try to get the streak going for the next 5. Well, he's on a 5-fight win streak already. Can he make it 6 in a row tonight against Chris Wade? The new shotgun tattoo, by the way. He said, I want to let Chris Wade know that I got this tattoo just for him because I'm putting the left hand right in his face.
I think that's a guy that's been to a few wrestling tournaments, Chael. Brought his pillow. I wonder where his blanket is, because, you know, there's got to be a blanket there somewhere.
Sure, and I got to tell you, from a marketing standpoint, that shotgun on the hand and he's cocking in front of us, that's genius at work.
You know, at the wrestling tournament, Randy, though, you got to find that little squeeze between the bleachers.
Yeah, exactly.
You took yourself in and on the floor. Coach can't see where you're at. You can nap for as long as you want.
You guys think trash talk's overrated? Oh, Bubba's still cutting a promo here about something. He's got no microphone, but boy, he's working.
Dewey Cooper in the background, always with the fresh kicks. The man makes me jealous every time I see him.
I need to do something. I need to do something.
All right, let's take a look back at some of our great regular season and playoff action. How about, Jail, how about top 5 submissions? Check these out, since you're a PFL newcomer. Body kick there from Kayla Harrison. Straight left. Dan Vaughn dives for a low single. Bowled over by Kayla Harrison.
Kayla doing a good job of controlling that wrist and pounding away with her free hand.
That's fast.
Might be trying to set up an arm bar.
There it is. There it is. She sits over. Will the barrier stop her from laying back on it? As Dan Wall walks out, she actually gives Kayla the space. And there is the tap. Kayla Harrison, armbar, Cindy Dandois hyperextends that elbow. Quick 6 for Kayla Harrison.
Harrison just poured it on. There she is from Mount. She was trapping that wrist, setting up that arm bar, spinning beautifully right into it. Aware of her surroundings, getting her back away from the cage. And there she is. She separates that arm away from the body, getting full leverage. Her hips underneath the fulcrum of that elbow. Pulls down at the end of the lever, bridges her hips, and that's what's going to dislocate, injure, or even break the arm. Rory looking for that double leg. He's trying to clasp his hands around both of the legs of Millender. If he can do that, it's going to be a much easier takedown. He's getting pretty deep with that knee position.
There's the hand lock right there.
He gets him, but that is enough to score the takedown. Millender surrenders it. They're building the base. A couple hammer fists for him to think about. When he rolls. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes is a long time to have the Red King on your back, Kenny Florian.
Sure is. The coach for Curtis Millender is trying to tell him to put some pressure on the left leg of Rory McDonald. There is a little footlock attack you can do from that position, but very difficult to do. And now Millender is on the wrong side. Rory McDonald working to try to get that arm underneath the neck of Millender.
Nice defense so far from Millender. Some heels to the thigh for him to think about. Oh, there's the rear naked choke underneath the chin. Will it be enough? Millender peels the top hand off.
This is going to be it, guys.
The Red King successful in his PFL debut. First round submission. Randy, this is a lot of what we thought might happen.
Yep, he was calculated. He found his distance, shot in on that double, and Millender did a great job of countering for as long as he could, but he finally got his grip, got his hands locked, and was able to pull those legs out. And then he was tactically just softening him up, working, making Millender fight until there you see it. He's got it locked in, and he switches it off to a bulldog. There's no way you're getting out of that there.
Yeah, it looks like a master class on the ground. You don't want Rory McDonald on your back. That's a public service announcement for all you welterweights. There is Pearl City. Monet presses him against the cage. Kenny, not a bad strategic decision to try and lean on Ray Cooper. And up and down, Ray Cooper slams Jason Bonet. Caught the leg and picked him up.
It was up to that point, John. Nice takedown there. I should say, not a takedown, a slam there by Ray Cooper. And he's in a great position to an arm triangle. If he can slide his left knee across the belly, he can get out to the left side of Bonet and finish this.
A lot of pressure, big
Yeah, he might finish this right now.
He's out.
Jason Bonet surrenders. Ray Cooper III submits Jason Bonet for a quick 6 points.
Woo, boy, what a lovely takedown there. Bonet was landing that knee, and then he caught it. Lifts him up, puts a little extra juice into it there with that slam. And it was a tragic mistake here from Bonet.
Another touch of the gloves. The southpaw spawn tries to avoid a takedown, and right down he goes again. 5 seconds into the round, Randy.
Man, nice single leg, little head outside single, dumps him, puts Spawn right on his back. Hamlet was not playing around in the standing position with the southpaw.
Here in the second round, still potentially 2 bonus points up for grabs. You get 3 points for a win. If you finish in the second round, that'd be good for 2. And Hamlet trying to set up a shoulder choke here on Dan Spawn.
Yeah,
He's got some pressure.
I think he's got it. I think he put him out.
Dan Spawn is out!
Nice single leg, head outside single. He does a great job of following through and putting Spawn on his back at the start of the second round. Here you see the head. He gets the head, an arm triangle, got pressure there. Bicep on one carotid artery. Dan Spawn's own shoulder on the other carotid artery. You'll see it cinch up. And here he goes.
Jumping knee attempt there from Millender. Wolfman catches him and wrestles into the cage. Trying to set up an Ezekiel choke here is Magomed Karamov. Yeah, Millender goes out! Magomed Karamov and Ezekiel choke to put Curtis Millender to sleep and secure a first round finish. Good for 6 points.
Wow. More in. Flying knee. Does a great job of catching the flying knee, not taking it on the chin. Second effort, follows through, keeps his feet moving, secures the takedown, gets on top position, and then suddenly cinches up the choke.
It's such a luxury to have that wrestling ability and the well-rounded game that Magomed has made his trademark. Magomed Karamov, Magomillions, as we like to call him, once again showing off his killer ground game. That was his 9th career win by submission. Those are the 5 greatest submissions of Season 3 here. Professional Fighters League action. Welcome back beside the PFL Smart Cage. Randy Couture, Sean O'Connell, Chael Sonnen, and Irish Mickey Ford stopping by.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. All good.
Welcome to the PFL playoffs. What do you think of the format and what you're seeing inside of our Smart Cage?
Oh, I think it's great. I got here a little earlier and some good fights already, and looks good. It's very good.
So I want to pick your brain a little bit. You're known obviously for a lot of things in the boxing world, but your trilogy with Gotti, right?
Yes.
We've got a grudge match happening later tonight. 2 guys who don't like each other very much. Now, tell me did you guys have animosity for real, you and Gotti, or was it just great fights?
No, we had no animosity at all. It was just 2 guys going in there just giving it their all, and basically that was it. There was no animosity. There was and the funny thing about it is, like, we had respect for it. We didn't really know each other beforehand, but then we grew respect for each fight. And then at the end, after the fights, we became best of friends.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
now,
it is crazy.
Was there anyone in your long and illustrious career you just didn't like the look of their face or the way that they talked, that there was some bad emotions heading in?
Nah, you know, I pretty much got along with everyone I fought. There were some people I didn't like. I really don't want to say their name, but you know what I mean? But I just went in there and did what I had to do. The more I hated him, the more I wanted to beat him.
Mickey, you're an amazing boxer, but you were a rough guy. If you could do it again, would you try something like this or stick to the sweet science?
Nah, I probably would if I was young enough. I mean, shit, you gotta go, excuse my language.
You're all right.
You gotta be, you know, you gotta start a little young, I think. You know, I mean, I like wrestling. I loved wrestling when I was younger, so I think wrestling and boxing, I don't know if the jiu-jitsu and stuff, and the kicks coming and the backhands coming, the back punches, those are the things you got to watch out for. And I get hit with everything and everything but the kitchen sink and the ring. So imagine a kick coming at me, forget it.
So in the PFL, we've got a regular season, playoffs, and a championship. So fighters jump in and they know their schedule. They've got a season scheduled out. Now we're talking a couple of wrestlers here. These guys went through seasons. But in boxing, you know, especially as a pro, you don't have that specific season calendar. Is that something that might have helped you in your career?
Well, no, I kind of like the way it was as a pro. You know, it's kind of like, I'm not going to say this is like an amateur thing, but it's like a tournament type of thing.
Sure.
You know, where you have like, you know, you have your semifinals, you have your finals, you have your quarterfinals, whatever it may be. It's kind of like that. So you kind of know who you're fighting. You kind of look ahead so you can study the person you're fighting ahead. It's kind of like the pros, but you know, it is a little different. But I think it's a good format.
Now, Randy's in show business, and obviously, major movie made about your life. Could Mark Wahlberg play Randy Couture?
Yeah, could, but I don't know if he would shave his head.
He did a great job playing you, I'll tell you that. I love that
Mark
movie.
Did a great job in it.
It's a great movie. And a great story.
Thank you,
honestly,
Andy.
Mickey.
Thank
you know,
you,
I
man.
met you years ago.
Yeah.
Came into my dressing room before the Rico Rodriguez fight.
Exactly, yeah.
And that was the first time I met you, and I was really honored that you came in. I was a big fan of your fighting.
Thank you, Randy. I appreciate it.
You're an absolute legend. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
stopping
guys.
by with us.
Appreciate it. Thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of the fights tonight.
You got it. I will. Thank you.
Irish, Mickey Ward, and hey, Anthony DeZee still to come. That's coming up next. 145-pound showcase bout between that man, the French wrestler, and Jesse Stern. He took his last bout on short notice. He has a full camp for this one, and it's coming up. Iconic Guitar Hotel at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino here in Hollywood, Florida. It's home to our PFL playoffs, and coming up October 27th, the 2021 PFL World Championship will take place right here. Also, time to get your authentic PFL event used gear and autographs. We've got signed posters, gloves, photos of Kayla Harrison, Rory McDonald, Ray Cooper III, and many more. They're all available at PFLMMA.com. Every item is authenticated and ready to ship worldwide. Visit PFLMMA.com and shop memorabilia now. Anthony DeZee and Jesse Stern in a featherweight showcase affair coming up.
All right, it is time to get our next fighters to the cage. First, Jesse Stern.
All right, Stern making his way out east coast fighter. Should ask Mickey Ward if he knows him, and I'll tell you, plenty of experience here. 6 team fights. I was in this sport just to personalize, but about 6 years until I got to that number. This is a little bit younger man, and he still needs his big opportunity. Ray Seppo is here, and all the guys Ray said he's going to watch, he specifically did mention Jesse Stern.
And his opponent, Anthony DeZee.
Your target is too far. You can't attack that now.
Anthony DeZee comes to us from France. He considers himself a wrestler. He uses wrestling in his style. He does have 5 knockouts to his credit and 2 submissions. We saw him in the regular season. He went the distance with Chris Wade. He had an impressive performance. He was in and out of that fight with Chris Wade. And he's looking to impress Ray Seppo and get another chance in season 4 of the Professional Fighters League.
With that, we'll take a look at our tail of the tape. 3 5-minute rounds again at featherweight. Anthony Dizzy is 4 years older. Jesse Stern is 2 inches taller, but the 4-inch reach advantage goes to Anthony Dizzy. Lillian, let's go.
22 nations have been represented here in the 2021 PFL season. And now we continue the prelims in the featherweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a striker. Standing at 5'9", he officially weighs in at 144.5 pounds. In 16 professional fights, he has a record of 11 wins and 5 losses, with 6 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Baltimore, Maryland, here is relentless Jesse Stern. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a wrestler. Standing at 5'7", he officially weighs in at 145.5 pounds. In 17 professional fights, he has a record of 13 wins and 4 losses, with 7 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Reims, France, here is Anthony Dizzy. Your referee in charge, Andrew Glenn.
Anthony Dizzy in the green trunks, representing his home country of France. Jesse Stern, the American, will be fighting in the black and gray. Touch of the gloves, Stern in the southpaw stance. Randy, I'm immediately curious about how the wrestling matches up here, because if you remember his bout against Shaymon Moraes, Jesse Stern actually took Shaymon down a couple of times before the script got flipped and he got submitted.
Stern keeps switching leads. Dizzy in the orthodox lead, and I think if you're going to try to take him down, you want to be in that orthodox lead as well, so your head can slip right outside that lead leg, and you can follow through and drive to that takedown. Stern happy to pot shot, kind of pick his opportunities.
See if he can keep that pace. See if Stern can keep moving like this. This is a lot of energy, whether there's a lot of action or not. Eventually, Dizzy's at least expecting it to slow down a little bit.
Now, Chris Wade is fighting later tonight in our semifinals, and Anthony Dizzy was his first regular season match. Chael, I know you weren't here for that, but it was a razor-thin decision victory for Chris Wade. Dizzy had his moments in that fight as he stumbled backwards.
Sure, and I think that's a confidence builder. I really do think that Dizzy gained some speed there. His stock for me, as a viewer, and I'm talking Dizzy, it went up, even in defeat. Dizzy is one of these guys as a wrestler. He's coming out and letting you know, not only do I want to be on the ground, I specifically want to be on top.
Stern moving, dipping, diving, ducking, dodging. One shot at a time, as Randy mentioned. Bubba Jenkins had a pillow. Chris Wade is sleeping on a backpack.
I believe that's an answer to the shotgun.
Oh, I like it. Well played.
Dizzy now in on an attempt here.
Dizzy needs this, guys. Dizzy does not go and force the action enough, in my opinion. He finds opportunities like this, so he can't really let this go. He's finally got his hands on his opponent. He needs to make this count. A trip would be appropriate. Dizzy could use that right leg, bringing it over the back.
So
keep that shoulder pressure.
Work his way into a Metzger, capture the hips of Stern, and find a way to take him to the mat.
Randy, it's tough. That fence can hold you up. If you know how to use it, it can be your tag team partner, but that goes defensively as well. Stern can sit into this fence a little, let Dizzy take some energy out, and as long as he keeps his footing, now Dizzy slipped behind him. Here's an opportunity. Dizzy needs to drag him to the mat. He can step the corner, pop his hip, but he needs to do something here.
Absolutely. That cage can be your best friend or your worst enemy.
Momentarily, Dizzy able to pick Stern up and set him down. Jesse Stern scrambles right back to his feet. Anthony Dizzy likes this type of fight, pressing his opponent against the cage.
Guys, I'll throw a fun fact at you, but the sport of mixed martial arts in the country of France, where Dizzy's from, has only been sanctioned about a year and a half, right in that 18, 20-month range. Dizzy's a big star within that country. He's got a little bit riding on this. He's got the body lock. He's going to have to stay busy here. Leg trips are his #1 option. I don't see him starting to step around.
90 seconds remain here in the first round.
Nice re-pummel by Stern. You take that underhook away. Dizzy goes right back in, gets the underhook on the other side.
Stern is able to separate here, throws a kick, eats a jab. Stern with some impressive quick movement even after nice uppercut there from Dizzy. Good check hook from Stern. And another shot from Anthony Dizzy.
And that's good defense by Stern.
Nice job catching that double coming in.
That's right. Dizzy was under those hips,
Yes.
but Stern was able to
And you
sprawl
are?
this the middle and bring both arms inside. That's going to give Stern some confidence here.
Dizzy having some trouble finding the target. It's moving all over the place.
That left hook at least stumbled Stern. Was it balance or the impact? We'll find out maybe on a replay. 10-second clapper. Dizzy one more time tries the takedown as this round comes to a close. Good left hand here by Dizzy, finds its target. Speaking of big punches, there's a man with some power in both hands, Emiliano Sordi, and this seems to be a theme with all of our playoff fighters. They're improvising pillows. Bubba Jenkins is the only one who came prepared and actually brought one. Emiliano Sordi, 2019 light heavyweight world champion, earned his way into these semifinals the hard way. 2 decisions. One a victory, one a draw against Dan the Dragon Spawn. Round 2. Dizzy in the green, Jesse Stern in the black and gray. Fighter performance rating brought to you by Rich Energy and exclusive to the PFL. Gives round number 1 to Anthony Dizzy.
I'm not sure I'm sold on that. I must tell you, I really thought that Stern moved pretty well, touched him a couple of more times. Dizzy's starting to open up just a little bit here, and I think Dizzy's finding he needs to open up. He lost a couple of those takedowns attempts in the opening frames.
Dizzy did control where the fight happened in the first round with those clinches and having his back. But Stern's a difficult target to get a beat on. Relentless motion, probably where he got his nickname, Relentless.
And I get the matador strategy by Stern. I even like it. It's just, I don't know if Dizzy's bringing the offense that you quite have to sidestep out of the way. I think at some point we're going to have to plant and start a fist fight, guys.
Nice body lock attempt here by Dizzy.
Once again, steps behind Jesse Stern. We saw him here in round number 1. This is what led to the takedown.
Dizzy finding in. Got one hook in. The fence preventing him from taking the back and securing that other hook, that anchor on Stern's back.
It's going to be hard, though. It's going to be hard for Stern to get up from here. As soon as he dropped down to that right knee, it's very tough. And Dizzy can distract him, feint a rear naked choke, slip in a couple of punches, but eat up a little clock in this position.
Anthony Dizzy has that wrist ride on the far side. Stern has
full mount. Nope, back to half guard.
Stern trying to get that left arm in for an underhook, doing a good job of at least turning up onto a hip, not being flat on his back, but Anthony DeZ continues the pressure from the top. Live odds shifting more heavily in the favor of Anthony DeZ. Nice right hand from the top. What do you know about that ground and pound, Randy Couture?
Yeah, I'd like to see him get his head up and his hips in, put a little more pressure against the fence with Stern, and then DeZ could land some power shots from that top position. Stern, very wily on the bottom. Does a great job of creating scrambles, using his feet, keeping his legs in the fight, making DeZ work to keep him down there.
Dizzy's been in this exact same spot 3 other times in this contest. When he stays patient, when he starts fighting those hands, he generally can drag his opponent down. But Dizzy, I'd like to see him step to the side, Randy, and just pop his hips a little more. I'd like to see him get a little more explosive. Right here, Stern faces in and is getting this underhook. Stern could come out with a takedown.
Yeah, Stern's in very, very deep. Big attempt. DeZ doing a nice job of countering it, ends up in top.
Good counter wrestling there from Anthony DeZ. 90 seconds remain here in the second of 3 5-minute rounds as he tries to work some more strikes from the top. Take a look through our ref cam. DeZ trying to get his left leg free, move fully into side control. Stern doing what he can to maintain some control. And DeZ is able to free his left leg. Moves over to the side. More shoulder pressure from the Frenchman. Shoulder punches from the top. What's the key for Jesse Stern in these final 30 seconds?
He just did it. He got that underhook that allowed him to circle towards that underhook, get to quarter position here. As long as he protects his neck, he should be in pretty good shape here. Start hand fighting, isolate a hand, and get back to his feet, which is exactly what he was able to do.
Stern is able to work back to his feet. Can he mount any offense in these closing moments? There's a right hand and a little flurry. Couple of leg kicks from Jesse Stern. And
nice knee, Jeff.
A takedown, but after the bell. Round 3 next.
Sit in here. Hey, we knew that was a possibility, okay? He's tired too. All right, that's wearing down on him. We knew that was a possibility. We don't throw from the game, okay? We keep moving. Let's not have our back to the fence again, okay? No, go for it, bud. He's trying to take the back.
Welcome back to the Professional Fighters League. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Chael Sonnen beside our PFL Smart Cage. Anthony DeZ doing some work in round number 2.
Got a
Last round.
Nice flying knee attempt by Stern. Right in on the takedown after the bell. Stern looked to be the fresher fighter at the end of that round, for sure.
Touch of the gloves to start round number 3. Anthony DeZ once again wins in the FPR algorithm. Stern scored some points with that last second flying knee as he grabs a leg kick as well. And another.
Randy, you talk about Stern being the more aggressive fighter. I'm seeing the same thing. Stern needs to start believing in himself. He needs to start understanding, I've got to mix it up. I can't just move and control. At some point, I must touch my opponent. When he plants his feet and gets off, he does some good combinations.
Agreed. He has got to wade in and, like you said, get into a fist fight.
I tell you what, Anthony DeZ's striking is not pretty, but it's effective. He's landing the straight right. He's landing some of these jabs, and he's keeping Jesse Stern reacting and at bay, even in the stand-up exchanges. There's a left hand and double up on it from Stern. There's the right hand sneaking through from Bazzi again. And Chael, you already mentioned this. There's a lot of style to Jesse Stern's stand-up, but we need more substance if he's going to turn the tide here in the third round.
Yeah, that's right. We always want to tell a guy, you know, about the footwork and the head movement. Look, he's doing a good job with that. side of that coin is there's some balance. You've also got to reach out and touch somebody. And frankly, when Stern believes in himself and doesn't, he mixes things up well. He's going against the clock right now, though. There's no time to wait. He's going to have to start turning this into a little bit more of a shootout.
I think he needs a finish. I mean, I have it 2 rounds to Dizzy at this point. He controlled the positions and where the fight happened in the first and second round. I think Stern has to find a way to make a finish.
My belief in watching is that Stern was afraid to mix it up because he didn't want to be taken down. Frankly, Randy, he's defended things very well in the open. It's once he gets pushed into the fence from his over movement that's cost him. I think right here, keep your feet right on that PFL logo, start letting those hands fly.
Agree, he's got to let those hands go.
I got to tell you, I feel like I need to educate the viewer here, though. Jesse Stern has a sexier style on the feet, but Anthony Dizzy is landing just as hard or harder, even though it's not pretty. And once again, overcommitment allows him to get to a spot where he wants this fight to be. He's on the leg of Jesse Stern, wrestling against the cage, and that has been successful in the first 2 fights in winner-go-home playoff action.
Boy, Dizzy is patient. You got to give him that. I mean, he's just pushing through stuff 1 inch at a time, 1 gate at a time. Come from the leg, come up to the body. He's not in a hurry. It's very methodical, but it's effective. I got to give him that.
See the live odds down there as the smart cage tracks the strikes. Anthony Dizzy now the overwhelming favorite here, just as Jesse Stern reverses position.
Dizzy going to get that shoulder low, trade the position. Now, Dizzy needs to really step this right leg in if he wants to hold him here. All right, he's going to elect to go down to the legs. That's not going to work. Stern's already got those underhooks. He's going to pull it back up.
90 seconds to make something happen here for the American Jesse Stern. The Frenchman Anthony Dizzy put on a methodical, grueling, so far effective performance.
Stern's almost like he's starting to mimic a Dominic Cruz type footwork and style of fighting.
I'm seeing it.
But he's not landing the effective strikes and punches that he needs to win this fight.
He shakes his head. He says, no, you didn't land that one, Anthony Dizzy. For Jesse Stern didn't land either. It can't be just gestures and gamesmanship, and defense is its own reward. You don't score points for slipping punches. There's a leg kick.
Mickey Ward, who's just out of view of camera here, but is looking around confused at all this movement by Stern. He's ready to see a little bit more leather fly.
20 seconds remain here in the 3rd and final round. Jesse Stern is laughing and smiling, but he's losing this fight. I don't understand the antics. Inside of 10 seconds, Dizzy with an uppercut. One final right hand misses, and 3 5-minute rounds are in the books. Both fighters walking around with hands raised, Chael. Does Jesse Stern think he won?
He's bluffing. He's faking. No, I don't think he does. I think that Stern understands this game that he got out positioned a little bit. You can still keep your fingers crossed and you can still have some hope, but hope is not a strategy.
Well, sometimes all you got is posture. You at least need to look like you want to fight.
Sure.
The Cageonomics stats bundle, those numbers favor Anthony Dizzy, who controlled a lot of where this fight happened and outlanded Jesse Stern 2-1.
Nice to meet you.
Do you have business with me?
Fighter performance rating exclusive to the PFL and brought to you by Rich Energy. Rounds 1 and 2 in favor of Anthony Dizzy.
You have business with me?
The algorithm was able to steal the third and final round. And of course, you always wonder when you leave it to the judges. Let's see what our experts thought here. Fighter performance rating, Randy and Chael, unanimous between those three. So far tonight, that has also translated to the judges' scorecards. We will see what the official ruling is with Lillian Garcia.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard. All 3 judges scored the bout 29-28.
And you are?
For your winner by unanimous decision, Anthony Dizzy!
Anthony Dizzy successful again against Chris Wade. It was a razor-thin decision. He came out on the wrong side in that one. This time he's on the right side of the ledger. He's won 7 of his last 9.
Deva makes bold choices.
All right, well, how are we doing on the bets tonight, fellas? We go to Jonathan Coachman and Ian Parker for the update.
John, I am very, very glad you asked. We have 2 fights left here on ESPN. Plus the next one, Camozzi and Hendricks. Well, we thought it'd be a great time to revisit Parker's prop bet presented by DraftKings Sportsbooks because he's part of the next fight. And I don't know why I keep saying
already cooled off some of the aggression.
Fighting out of the red corner, he is a kickboxer and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He stands at 6'3", weighs in 203.5 pounds in 41 professional bouts. This 15-year veteran has a professional record of 26 victories and 15 defeats with 15 wins by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, here is Chris Camozzi! Your referee in charge, Gary Copeland.
Easy teleport,
Gary Copeland
Deva.
equipped with the ref cam, Camozzi.
Ion guide your path.
Yellow and black. Corey Hendricks in the black and gray. Southpaw Camozzi, Hendricks in the orthodox stance.
Quick disclosure, I used to train with Chris Camozzi. I've known him
Easy
almost
teleport,
a decade.
Deva?
I will call this without biasness, but I thought you should know.
Ion guide your path.
Both of these men impressive as we showed you the highlights of their last bouts. This was a pick'em. The sports books don't know who's going to win, and I'm very excited to see how it plays out. Well-rounded skill sets from each, but as we already talked about, the advantage and experience weighs heavily in the favor of Chris Camozzi. How much do you think that will be a factor? These guys are only a year apart,
Have you business with me?
but 2 different careers, Randy.
Absolutely. Both guys have the ability to
Have you
grind,
business with me?
and it has a potential to be that kind of fight. Both guys skilled, well-rounded.
Faith and dog.
Anywhere this fight goes, they have answers. It's going to be interesting to
Faith
see how
and
it
dog.
shakes out. Who presses their will
Faith and
on
dog.
the other guy.
What I know about Chris from training with him, but also watching him, he has a problem with overwhelming wrestling abilities. Anything short of that, and Camozzi's in the match.
Hendricks survived some nastiness early from Martin Hamlet, and he wore Hamlet down. He came on strong late in that fight, got the finish in the 3rd round. So even if this ends up being the kind of back and forth affair we expect it to be, don't expect either man to go away as we get further in. Switching stance here for Hendricks, who's now a southpaw. Switch foot, lands the right jab, goes back to orthodox.
Hendricks generally likes a fight with a pretty high pace. He's not able to get that pace going yet on Camozzi. He wants to. I can see it. I can see him, that look in Corey's eyes, but he's just not quite finding that range to get the scramble, get the action started quite as hard of a heart rate as he likes.
Where's the low? Where's the low after that? Yes. Back to the jab. He's still right-handed. Now he's southpaw. Be careful. Yes, there you go.
Hendricks attempts a high kick, but it's Camozzi's corner who is calling for it. Another one from Hendricks misses. Camozzi has gone with the basics, the bread and butter, the jab cross. It's landed more than once.
He's sitting on it nice, too. He's putting good power on that.
Hendricks sneaks another one through. We know that Camozzi's chin is more than adequate.
Taking Camozzi out of this realm needs to be a priority for any opponent, not just Corey Hendricks. When Camozzi was a free agent, before he came to the PFL, signed with Ray Seffel and company, he was being offered professional kickboxing fights, and I only offer that to let you know this is where Camozzi likes to be. Even if he plunges down just a little bit, even if it's not this overwhelming power, it still exists, and this is where he likes to fight, on his feet with a little bit of range.
You're absolutely right, Joe. Camozzi stepped away from MMA for a while, spent a couple of years in Glory Kickboxing, winning record over there. So he's got the jiu-jitsu. You saw multiple submission victories on his record. He honed the striking arts. And right now they're paying dividends early in this fight. Hendricks keeps switching back and forth from southpaw to orthodox. Counter punching from Camozzi. He lands a two-piece.
Hendricks wants to get his hands on him. Hendricks is aware of that. He just hasn't quite figured out yet how to close that range. Right, Randy? You can see he wants to dirty box. You can see he wants to get around that neck. He just hasn't seen his opening.
Yeah, I think the off stance, that's why he keeps switching to this same southpaw stance. It's easier to make that transition, get that takedown, get in deep when you're both in the same stance. It becomes a lot trickier when you're in the opposite stance of your opponent.
Camozzi spent 3 different training camps out at Serra-Longo training with then middleweight champion Chris Weidman. So I bring that to you because Camozzi learned a little bit about wrestling. He learned to keep guys at me. Whoa, a little bit of a switch kick.
Nice little hook kick or
Randy,
question mark.
Finish that thought. Tell me, you started to say it a minute ago, but why does Corey keep changing his stance? You think he's looking for wrestling versus striking?
That's the only thing that makes sense to me, is that he wants to close, as you said. And it's easier to close when you're in the same stance as your opponent. When you're in that open stance versus the open stance, it makes it much more difficult.
Strong round from Camozzi, and round 2 next.
Welcome, Dave.
All right, let's take a look at this. Hendricks coming in with a right.
Welcome,
a little bit of a duck, almost wanted to do a hook. See this come right back to Camozzi. That's called a receipt. He's returning fire. You must always answer back, and the great strikers do.
Check it out, guys.
One more from Hendricks there, and again, Camozzi's trying to get him with that check hook, but Hendricks stayed a little bit out of range.
Hendricks is doing an interesting thing there. He's switching his feet as he throws that punch.
Camozzi in the yellow and black, Hendricks in the black and gray. FPR gives round number 1 to Chris Camozzi. Algorithm says he doubled up the score of his opponent. You can see the smart cage tracking strikes would agree the output drastically in the favor of Camozzi. Hendricks staying in the orthodox stance right now. Special showcase fight at 205 pounds. Both of these guys, I think, did enough in their last regular season bouts to impress the boss, but a victory here would cement that.
Camozzi's starting to bother Hendricks here. Camozzi's finding a couple of these shots that I think are a little harder than we've given him credit for. Here, Corey comes in, closes the distance. He's going to have to hold him here.
I think Camozzi thought he had him hurt. He went hard a little bit and walked right into that double leg.
Yeah, I can't tell if Hendricks was playing possum on purpose. You know, he turtled up a little bit. He put both hands up, let his back fall against the cage. Camozzi rushed in, used that to time the takedown, but nice work by Chris Camozzi getting back to his feet.
He's not out of the woods till he gets his arm free, and I'm talking about Camozzi here. Hendricks is around the back. All right, there Camozzi's got it safe.
Double underhooks, body lock. Hendricks counters nicely, floats his hips out, and puts Camozzi on the ground.
Camozzi now trying to work
leg
for
lock
a
attempt.
Leg lock heel hook here. Hendricks will attempt to spin out.
Got a scramble by Camozzi, and he does. He comes out on top.
The legs intertwined here.
It's a tough position for Hendricks to get unwound from. All of Camozzi's body weight blocked on that leg, trapped under Camozzi's hips. Nice job by Hendricks. Right into the back position. Big trouble here.
And it's under the chin of Chris Camozzi.
Yes, it is.
Hendricks switching to the short choke here.
Notice Camozzi's left arm. He's holding that elbow. He needs to come under the elbow. All right, Hendricks helped him out. Hendricks didn't have it. He let it go. Looked like some opportunity.
Camozzi did a nice job of switching his hips and getting that butt cheek towards the mat and changing the angle of the rear naked choke.
Camozzi needs to make a hard turn to his right. He needs to get his right elbow down, switch hips here. He can come out on top of this, but he's got to move. He's not moving. Camozzi needs to get this elbow off the chest and get it to the mat, Randy.
Absolutely. Do a hip heist. Should do a hip heist and come out right on top here. Hendricks doing a nice job of binding in on that cross leg. It's going to make it hard to switch his hips.
A truly neutral position here on the ground. Neither man able to mount any offense. Camozzi finally flips over, but he doesn't have the leg free, and Hendricks chain wrestles and switches to the top position. Camozzi got a butterfly in already on the left side. He'll sit over.
Camozzi's looking to get two hands on this wrist. You see him watching across. That's going to start a stand-up or escape. He's not going to try to turn this into a rumble wrist lock or a Kimura, but he does need to get that control. Slow Hendricks down. Hendricks not being as busy as he could be on top. Hendricks is getting greedy. He's wanting to finish here instead of starting to plot away a little bit.
Hendricks looking for that arm triangle if he can isolate that far arm. But Camozzi doing a nice job of keeping that arm glued to the mat, not letting him get under there.
Hendricks looks like he was going to try and use that as an opportunity to pass, but almost got swept. Chris Camozzi, as much as we talk about his striking, he's very, very talented on the ground and experienced here as well. Hendricks working hard to try and keep Chris Camozzi stuck to the mat.
Kimura attempt.
Chris Camozzi, tight angle on that arm.
He can get his left hip to the ground. There's opportunity. It would surprise me, but if he can drive that left hip to the ground, he's definitely got that arm bent.
Got the right angle on it, and that is a nasty Kimura attempt. Hendricks looks like he's gutting this one out. Camozzi uses it to gain the top position.
He's in trouble. That's hurting. That's really putting a lot of stress on his shoulder. You could see it on his face.
That was a nasty Kimura attempt from Chris Camozzi. I'm surprised.
Oh, he gets out.
Hendricks is able to rescue his arm, but not before surrendering the top position to Chris Camozzi, who goes to work with the left hand. Choke attempt from Camozzi to finish the round. Hendricks pulls his head out. Round 3 when we return. Randy, walk me through this.
Wade reaches across, gets that Kimura, cranks it up using his hips to put that all the way up behind Hendricks' back. And then he uses it for a sweep. As he gets there, Hendricks has to give position to alleviate the pressure on his shoulder. That allows Camozzi to come over on top. Doesn't get any better there. He's still got that hand, and now both their body weights on that shoulder.
My arm does not move that down. That would have been too much for me. Corey Hendricks guts it out. We'll see how healthy that arm is here in round 3. Chris Camozzi with a strong FPR score.
Would have been cartilage skipping across that mat if that was me out there.
I tell you guys what, this could be tied 1-1, very realistically.
Low kick there from Chris Camozzi. Grueling fight so far, both men breathing heavy. Nice stiff jab from the right hand of Corey Hendricks in the southpaw stance. Looks like he hit Camozzi hard. Little stumble from Camozzi, might have been more fatigue related.
Whether we're even 1 round apiece or not isn't relevant. What I'm suggesting for you is that both fighters knows that if they believe it, and they both know they need to win this round, we're about to have some fun as viewers in the next 4 minutes.
I think it might be 2-0 to Camozzi, but we've seen the judges disagree with fighter performance rating in the past. High kick misses for Corey Hendricks. Don't forget, his last outing here in the PFL Smart Cage, Corey Hendricks pulled one out of his hat in the 3rd round. He will grind for as long as there's time on the clock. Camozzi comes in behind the jab.
He's gonna look to shoot here. You should stay sharp.
Nice body kick there from Hendricks. Camozzi returned with a sharp jab. Combination from Camozzi, couple of those hooks, finding the ear of Corey Hendricks. Body shot.
Camozzi had Hendricks covered up. I'm not sure why he kind of backed off and let him off the hook there.
I believe Corey played possum with Camozzi in the 2nd round. I think Camozzi's worried he was doing it again, Randy. It's
yeah, you might be right, Chael. You might be right. He went possum in the 2nd, and Camozzi walked right into that double leg. He may have smelled that same setup again.
You have business with me?
Camozzi, keep using those jabs. Keep your hands low. So when he gets, when he extends, or when he throws those crosses, that double becomes open.
Don't wait. Stay in rhythm.
Inside of Camozzi's corner.
He's looking to shoot. Stay smart.
Chris, inside tower.
Well, Camozzi's corner called that one. He was looking to shoot. He was on point. Sometimes it's easy to see things from outside the cage that you can't see in the heat of the battle.
Jab to a 10. Very, very basic, very clean kickboxing right now by Camozzi.
Hendricks trying to move in behind his own jab, and now he's winging away.
Nice head movement by Camozzi to miss with that hook.
Camozzi looks great, and I need to spread that compliment to Chris Weidman. I think maybe their time together. Look, Camozzi's doing some real anti-wrestling tonight, picking some real good, clean, basic shots with his kickboxing, and he's scoring points.
Inside of 2 minutes here in this light heavyweight showcase bout. Camozzi's got the body lock. Hendricks able to shrug at least one arm off. Reverses position, puts Camozzi's back to the cage. Nice head movement again from Camozzi as the right hand came through. Left hand sneaks over from Camozzi. Another.
Oh, nice one.
And the jab.
When you find something that works, go back to it. With the theory being, if it caught him once, it's going to catch him again, and that's what you just saw. Same 3 combinations in a row by Chris Camozzi.
He's setting that trap, that little head fake. Hendricks is biting on it, and he's landing those shots in that combination.
Hendricks is wearing a little worn out. It's one shot at a time. Camozzi here in the 3rd round has put several meaningful combinations together. And now they go back to wrestling against the cage.
In all fairness, Camozzi is overperforming for me just a little bit. Am I undercounting my partner? I don't think so. I know him pretty well. Watching this pace, watching how he dealt with the wrestling, even found that submission, whether he finished it or not. One of the better versions of Chris Camozzi I've seen.
Hendricks is able to reverse position and press Camozzi to the smart cage. But with 30 seconds remaining, it would appear he needs a finish to pull this one out after another strong round from Chris Camozzi. Ten-second clapper. Combination from Camozzi. A knee from Hendricks in the final seconds. Camozzi presses Hendricks one more time against the cage and raises his hand. Chris Camozzi thinks he's done enough.
Nicely done, Chris.
Tell you what, back-to-back grueling but effective performances from Chris Camozzi inside the Smart Cage, Randy.
Absolutely. He showed that veteran status right there. Very solid performance by Chris Camozzi. Nice choice of combinations. Picked his distance, used those head fakes and those traps to set those punches up and those kicks up. Did a nice job on the ground, countering the wrestling. I think he won all 3 of these rounds.
Take a look at our Cageonomics stats bundle presented by Geico. Chris Camozzi nearly tripled up the strikes landed. More active with the kicks. The takedowns at Corey Hendricks' advantage. But Camozzi strong in the counter wrestling still.
Target is out of your line of sight. You need a clear line of sight. An incorrect target is selected.
PFL's exclusive fighter performance rating is sponsored by Rich Energy, and according to the Smart Cage and the algorithm, Chris Camozzi wins all 3 rounds. What do the experts say? Experts is a bit of a stretch. FPR says Camozzi. Randy and Chael would agree, probably influenced by the objective scoring of our incredible new technological innovation.
You're on fire, Sean. Let it go, buddy.
What do the judges say? I don't know, but Lillian Garcia knows.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. And the totals are 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28. All for your winner by unanimous decision, Chris Camozzi.
Yeah, they had it right. I got to tell you, 30-27, that sounds right to me, but one judge did give that second round to Hendricks. That's fair too, Randy. I don't complain with that.
Yeah, it's tough to complain about that. Hendricks did a nice job of putting him there.
Thanks, Chael and Randy. I'm here with our winner, Chris Camozzi. Now 2 in a row here in the PFL Smart Cage, and grueling performances both, but effective both times. How'd you feel about your fight tonight?
You know, I felt so sharp all week. I felt a little bit sloppy in here, but I don't think that's due to my preparation. I think Corey did a really good job at neutralizing some things I like doing. But either way, man, I got the win, and I'm happy about it. Hats off to Corey. I knew he was going to be one of the toughest fights here, so I'm happy to walk away with the win.
Well, we thought this would be a pretty evenly matched tonight. The betting odds have it evenly matched tonight. You come away with a victory, and as I said, that's 2 in a row, including a win over a guy who's in the semifinals later tonight. You're 40-plus fights into your career. Will we see you in the Smart Cage for Season 4 of the PFL?
Absolutely. You know, I'm still holding on to hopes that I make it in that finals. I'm the alternate as far as I know. And like I said, leading up to this, to me, that was the real playoff fight right there. We both won last time. The 2 guys we beat are fighting in the playoffs. So in my eyes, that's the real playoff fight right there.
Well, we'll see how things play out. Let's take a look at some of your work here on these replays. You go over the shoulder on both of those, and we saw you with the straight punches and the looping punches. You found a home for both.
Yeah, between rounds, I told my coaches the way Corey was blocking, he was kind of fading with my cross shot, so I was having trouble landing it. So I had to start bringing him around the hand a little bit. Just some mid-game adjustments, you know, that's part of being a pro, you know, is making those adjustments with my coaches between rounds. And I was happy that I took their advice and went with it.
We saw you getting a little bit of trouble in that choke attempt. How close was it?
It wasn't close, you know, honestly. We knew Corey was good at taking the back. So this entire camp, I've worked this position, and I do it a bit different than I've done before. but I feel like I followed the instructions directly the way that we wanted it to happen, and I was able to come out on top.
I thought this was really the moment of the fight. That Kimura attempt, and obviously you were able to use it as a sweep. His arm, he was scratching the middle of the back of his neck. It was nasty.
Oh, he's got some flexibility. I was looking at my coaches as I was wrenching it, wondering why he wasn't tapping. So, I mean, you know from being in there, it doesn't always work out perfect, but I was able to get the sweep.
Well, Randy and I both said if it was our arms, that would have been popping something. Look, an efficient performance, another victory. Congratulations, Chris Camozzi.
Thank you, and thanks to PFL, and I'm ready for those finals if anybody falls out. Otherwise, I'll see you next season.
Chris Camozzi, ladies and gentlemen.
Tickets are on sale now to MMA's biggest night, the 2021 PFL World Championship. 6 title fights on one card. Winner of each gets $1 million. Buy tickets at pflmma.com/tickets. A reminder that our playoff coverage continues on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus with a win or go home semifinals at 10 p.m. Eastern. The main event, the undefeated Mauve Lead with a whole bunch of syllables in the last name. He's taking on Britain knockout artist Brindis. Lock Game Plus 2019 PFL light heavyweight champion Sorty. He's taking on Shoeface for a spot in the 2021 PFL Championship.
One more showcase bout here on ESPN Plus. That man, Shimon Moraes, coming off a victory, wants to put a statement on his season. You know what? Let me show you a little flashback here. The final 10 seconds of the round. Around then, quite frankly, Jesse Stern had given him something to deal with back and forth. Some moments for both individuals in this one. Stern gets him to the mat. Less than 10 seconds remaining. Shimon Moraes says, I don't want to come out for another round. Grabs the Kimura, earns the tap. Big submission victory for Shimon Moraes. Don't count this man out, even in the final few seconds of a round. His opponent, Lazar Stojadinovic, got a short notice call to take on Mavlid Haibulayev. Battled that one all the way to a decision with no training camp.
I have something for you to do for me. Ah, you're here.
Welcome.
Peace and all that.
One more featherweight showcase bout. Shimon Moraes, Lazar Stojadinovic. This one promises to be an exciting affair at 145 pounds. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Chael Sonnen beside the PFL Smart Cage. Great action so far in the showcase bouts. We've got one more left before we head to the winner-go-home scenarios. Featherweights and light heavyweights in the playoffs. Chael, it's your first PFL experience. How you feeling so far?
I love it because I get it, guys. They're trying to impress Royce Bracefo, who's sitting ringside. Showcase, perfect term for what we've seen so far tonight.
Absolutely.
You're doing, I will give you a B+ so far.
I'll take a B+.
We're going to need you to step it up just a little bit.
89, 88%?
Like 87.
My mother would be very okay with that.
We'll round up. The fighter performance rating is hovering right around that 87.5.
I'll take it.
Right now, okay?
Feels like a compliment over here, Randy. Am I taking this wrong?
No, I think you're taking it right.
Randy, remember, that's not just on his action, but his impact on the audience.
There, okay.
And
I
the
forget
impact
about that.
it's been decent so far.
See, it keeps touting this algorithm because the guy got punched in the head for so long.
Sure.
Is the one who developed the algorithm.
Talking to us like he can even spell algorithm. Yeah, listen, Mr. Judgmental over here.
It makes perfect sense.
Haroon's
that you would
eye
have
guide
me
you.
do the intellectual stuff. Listen, we've got Shimon Moraes and Lazar Stoyadinovic. I'm going to talk to you first about Shimon Moraes. We saw a guy who came out and lost his first bout of the regular season, okay? He gets knocked out by Brendan Loughnane. He comes with a huge, really come from behind victory against Jesse Stern with that Kimura victory. Didn't earn him enough points to get into the playoffs.